Maverick News, the antivirus program for your mind. And now, the Freedom Reporters.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to get that thing off my face. Oh, that's worse. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to the Maverick News channel. I'm going to start off by saying that this has been actually a great day. A really fantastic day. First of all, I'm amazed at what a great family we have here, a great community. A lot of people over the last couple of days have expressed concern about Dana Lee Melfi, Peaceman, who sort of kind of dropped off the radar on social media. And I've been just flooded with phone calls from people worried about him. They want to make sure he's okay. And I just want to let everybody know he's fine. He finally returned an email message to me today, and he's okay. Now, as you know, he was receiving some messages that were harassing. He was a little upset about that, and he sort of just decided to take himself off social media. So he's just kind of laying low for a while. But I'll tell you, I was inspired by the outpouring of support and concern. You guys are amazing. So thank you for that. And that's coming from me. And I know that Dana appreciates it too. I was just amazed. Beautiful day outside today. I had to chop up some brush outside. It was a fantastic day all the way around. And we have some inspiring stories to share with you tonight, at least one big one about East Palestine, Ohio. There is aid on the way there, and courtesy of, freedom fighters. And we have joining us tonight some of the people who are organizing an aid procession, or whatever you want to call it. I'll let them explain exactly what it is. But they're getting at least one truckload of aid to go to East Palestine, Ohio, where we've seen that train derailment and the subsequent fire with the polyvinyl chloride and the contamination out there. But there's always an inspiring story that makes up a silver lining to some of these dark clouds, literal dark clouds that circle above us sometimes. So yeah, lots to talk about tonight, and we'll get into some of the other news of the day as well. But that's the big one tonight, folks. Aid on the way to East Palestine, Ohio. Let's take a brief break, and when we come back, we'll start bringing our guests on, and they'll explain exactly what is going on, and they'll explain how you can help, maybe get involved. So stay with me. We'll be right back.
Maverick News. Fighting for freedom.
The New World Order. Government overreach. The Great Reset. Mainstream media lies. Now more than ever, independent voices are needed. Donate now, at freedomreporters.com. That's freedomreporters.com. Maverick News. The antivirus program for your mind.
Fear not the storm, for truth is on our side. Maverick News. The world is watching.
So before we get into our guests, I do want to run this report from Fox News just to tee things up to, I guess, highlight the seriousness of what is going on in East Palestine, Ohio, and what is also going on with the cleanup efforts there, because apparently they're shipping some of the toxic water, the contaminated water that was used to fight the fire, all the way to Texas.
I and my team learned yesterday that firefighting water from East Palestine was going to be sent to Deer Park, which is one of the 34 cities in Harris County, for disposal. One thing that I want to share that I think the public should know is that I learned about this not from a regulatory agency, not from the company, but from a member of the press. And that's unacceptable. My goal tonight is not to create more worry than there already is. But I know that our community was taken aback by the news, just as I was. And I don't want to be sitting on information that is relevant to this very public, very concerning disaster that is still ongoing in Ohio. I also want folks to know there are many things we don't know that we should know. That doesn't mean that something is wrong. And I want to stress that point. That doesn't mean that something is wrong. But it's worth noting. My team and I have been working with authorities from across the county, from across the state, and from across the federal government to get answers on this situation. We've spoken with Texas Molecular, which is the waste disposal company that is receiving this water. We've spoken with several officials at the Department of Transportation, the Environmental Protection Agency, the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, TCEQ, as well as with several experts, both from industry and environmental protection. I want to acknowledge, of course, Mayor Mouton in Deer Park, my colleague Commissioner Adrian Garcia, and Congresswoman Jackson Lee, who's in her role in the House's Homeland Security Committee, has been helping us run this down. The government officials have readily provided the information they have. But what we're learning is that they themselves don't seem to have the full information. I'm still not sure why. I'm not clear on who has the full picture of what is happening here, and that is a problem. We've got several open questions, but I wanted to provide an update with what we do know so far. Part of what we know so far is there is something fundamentally broken with how these incidents are dealt with, at least with how information is communicated. If not even I, as the local executive and head of emergency management of a county larger than 25 states, have proper information about what is taking place, if I am not receiving that, how can I possibly do my job of keeping our community safe? I promised I'd keep the community informed, so here's what we've learned over the past 24 hours, and we have been on the phone nonstop. First of all, we heard the news yesterday that some contaminated firefighting water will be coming to Harris County. Today, in speaking with Texas Molecular, we learned that, in fact, some of the firefighting water is already here. According to Texas Molecular, the water began arriving to Harris County, quote, last Wednesday-ish. That's what they told us. According to Texas Molecular, Harris County has received $500,000. According to Texas Molecular, Harris County has received 500,000 gallons of firefighting water and will be receiving up to 1.5 million more gallons for around 2 million gallons total. Texas Molecular said they're getting around 30 trucks per day from East Palestine, Ohio. The company has assured us that they're storing the firefighting water, quote, in a way that removes the risk to water, groundwater, air emissions, and protects public health, that the water is well within their permits, capabilities, and experience in managing waters like these safely and in compliance. However, there are three major concerns. First, the concern about what exactly is being injected into the injection wells and what kind of chemical reactions there might be between the material coming in and the other material that's been injected nearby or that's at the surface. We as Harris County don't know right now, and our pollution control department doesn't know, and our county attorney's office doesn't know the exact composition and dilution level of what is in the water. On this concern, we are in touch with Texas Molecular. They've assured us they will be providing a full list of chemicals in the water, and we've also requested the permits from the TCEQ, the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality. We've not yet received either, but we hope to receive that information soon. The second concern is about the human health from the transport and the health of the workers. We've learned from Texas Molecular that they're receiving the water from trucks. It's possible, I'm told by the experts, that the water is first transported by rail and then by truck for the last leg. The fact that we don't know, it may make no difference, okay? But we want to know, we need to know. That's why we're here, is to know these things on behalf of the community. And so I'm asking that question, and either way, we need to know what precautions are being taken as those materials are transported, be it by rail or be it by truck. What precautions are being taken at the site of the well? The last thing I want is for our community, or one of the many, many communities between Ohio and Harris County, Texas, to be the next place where there's an accident with materials from this derailment. On the second point of safety and transportation and worker safety, we're looking into any violations by this company in terms of a safety record with the TCEQ and with OSHA. So far, good news is the record seems to be strong, but our departments are still looking into it. We're also reaching out to the Department of Transportation. We have reached out to see if there's anything they can do to ensure the transport is as safe as possible, and they promise to get back to us on that. Third, the concern about why this water is coming all the way to Texas. Look, I'm told there are about 200,000 oil and gas injection wells in the US, and many in Harris County, and we're all hearing this, right? It's normal for there to be these kinds of injection wells. But what I'm also told is there are very few wells that accept hazardous commercial waste. I'm told around 10. So yes, Harris County is one of the very few places that can store these materials. What that means is this isn't as routine as we're talking about a little bit.
Okay, we'll just pull out of that. Here we go.
Perhaps it makes sense it's coming all the way over here. However, I'm told there's a facility in Romulus, Michigan, and there's one in Vickery, Ohio, that could also take these materials. Why are these materials not being taken somewhere closer? Is there something these jurisdictions know that we don't know? To be clear, there may be logistical reasons for all of this. There may be economic reasons. Perhaps Texas Molecular outbid the Michigan facility. It doesn't mean there's something nefarious going on, but we do need to know the answer to this question. So we're expecting an answer from the Department of Transportation, and we're working to reach out to Ohio EPA, which is actually a state entity. We learned from someone with the federal EPA that the Ohio EPA, the state entity, is contracting with companies to transport the wastewater disposal. The Ohio EPA, with contractors, we're told, identified Texas Molecular as a facility that could dispose of the wastewater. But Texas Molecular is just doing the disposal, they're not doing the transport. There's nothing right now to tell us there's going to be an accident in transport, that this is being done in such a way that is not compatible with the well, that there's a nefarious reason why the water is coming here and not to a closer site. But it is our job to do basic due diligence on that information. We're going to continue doing that work, and we're going to continue keeping the public updated as we know more. Here's the thing. We all know, and maybe this is the elephant in the room, we all know we're the petrochemical capital of the world, and we're proud of that. We know many of our jobs depend on that. All of us in some way are tied to the industry in our community, but that doesn't mean we don't deserve clean air and clean water and safety. We routinely store materials, sure, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't be informed. And it's a very real problem we didn't know about this sooner. It's a very real problem we were told yesterday the materials were coming, only to learn today they've been here for a week. We need to find a way to ensure this doesn't happen again moving forward, and that we get the information that our community deserves. I think this is a new moment in public consciousness for understanding how hazardous materials are dealt with. I hope that what happened in Ohio and what is happening now here opens the door for a change in protocol. I hope that all our regulatory agencies at the state level, at the federal level, that they see there needs to be a stronger posture on how we can hold private industry accountable in handling hazardous materials and how we keep the public safe and informed. So I'm going to leave it there and repeat my remarks in Spanish, and then I'll answer any questions.
Okay. That gives you a handle on where things are at right now. And here's where things are going. We're going to bring our guests in now. Lamont Daigle and Shay Eagle. Welcome.
Hey, Lamont. Hey, Rick.
Nice to see you all.
We got a few that are going to be joining us. I think they're already down there. Brian is going to be joining us. He's already down there on the site to find supplies today. So he's going to be joining us probably from that site. And Vince as well, who's for Americans for America, obviously. You guys know a little bit about us. So they should be backstage or joining us soon. So thank you very much. Thanks, Rick.
My privilege. Thank you guys for what you're doing. And why don't you just bring us up to speed? What are you guys doing? You're sending aid to East Palestine, Ohio.
That's what I'd like to do. Talk to Lamont about this, and you know, Brian, when we bring them on, we can talk a little bit more about Americans for America, but they definitely need our help. And, it's definitely putting that call out for the freedom fighters and some of the truckers. I put a message out to, Chris Barber and Wendell, the Fuck Trudeau truck. And, I'd be blessed with one truck that would, take donations down there and us, and, definitely blessed if we could have more than one of them that could offer some help and take down there for sure.
Okay. Lamont, you're with The Line Canada, and this is the first time you and I have ever met, actually. So it's very nice to meet you, especially bad under these circumstances, but good under these circumstances, because, like I said, a silver lining, right? So how is it that you've come to be involved? I expect someone probably picked up the phone and said, hey, you want to help out?
Right. Well, as much as we all understand and know how Shay Eagle has conducted herself during this next level, because, for the last 3 years, and I'm going to say 3 years, I mean, it was April 2020 when we got involved in downtown Toronto with the protests. And we quickly learned, being on the ground and seeing a lot of different things happening as they go along, that ultimately the truckers showing up, in 2022 was really exciting, because really we had come to an apex where protests and gatherings, I'll call them rallies, weren't really having the effect that we were proposing anymore. Because as you know, Rick and Shay, a lot of different actors started getting involved with what we were doing. And so the initial reason we were out there changed, and we decided to kind of remove ourselves at the same time as the charges came along for my conditions, based on the fact that I had to shut up and I couldn't be on social media and explain what was going on. That being said, I've been paying attention because Shay's been a part of what's been going on for a long time. As a matter of fact, once we saw her, get involved and create quite a ruckus with the truckers convoy and stuff, and in a good way, because quite frankly, as long as you're not causing bad blood, as long as you're not causing bad blood, then you're good. If you're in the middle of drama, which is what this whole darn thing is right now, we can't differentiate who's who from who's what. And Rick, you've done very well at being able to figure out who's playing in the field, who's creating problems. And, Rick Martin or Danny Martin with Freedom and Accountability, great people shedding a light on what's going on. So with Shay, she's like, yeah, Lamont, I've been at your rallies in downtown Toronto. And then when I focused in and I get these images coming at me where I've seen Shay being a part of what's going on, because we've seen thousands, and if not tens of thousands of people in the streets, we finally started realizing where the similarities lay with who we were becoming involved with. And now Shay was always involving herself with people that were causing me to pay attention. Okay. And you even brought up Peaceman earlier, right? With Dana. And right? And so there's different ways that everybody kind of shows up, and there's different people that are asking questions. And at the end of the day, even looking at this East Palestine thing, is that, when you're getting into the details of what really happened and what's going on, to me, I always look at the noise. Oh, we're shipping it here, and we want disclosure, and these people aren't showing up the way we want to know the chemicals over here. That to me is noise. The true need is the people. They're the ones that had no idea what this was happening. And if we don't pay attention to what's happening down there, we're not going to pay attention to when it happens in Toronto, because that could happen anywhere. They're preparing themselves for more action. How many derailments and accidents have we seen with food processing plants? Right. This was just the one that was on the artery of water to affect all of North, pretty much all the U.S. and not far from us either. So they picked that site, and I'm a little bit jaded and pissed off around the whole structure of things, because she's saying no, we don't think there's nefarious reasons. We don't think, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Everything about this is nefarious. Because we've seen enough to see what's going on. But I just wanted to say, coming back to your thing, Rick, is that Shay has been showing up as a great person, being able to work both sides of the fence. Because you see, my hands are tied because, as you can see by the name, The Line Canada, as soon as we started backing up Brazil, as soon as we started backing up France, as soon as we started asking questions as to what was going on in the U.S. and how we could do things there, everybody went, hey, hold on. Don't concern yourself with anything outside of Canada. That's just confusion, and you're causing problems because Canadians can only focus on one thing at a time. Back Trudeau. No. We need to involve ourselves with other people that are there to help. Okay. The USA has been synonymous with helping people that need help. And all of a sudden, because we're across the border, we're not going to get help? I don't think so. So Shay's got it figured out. She's got some really great people that she knows are able to hit the ground running with what we're doing. And, we'll support as much as we can, because I have a team of people behind me that need to know what's happening. And really, she mentioned it earlier, and I was interested in doing that. I'm interested in anything Shay's doing, kind of thing. But for us to get involved specifically, we'll figure that out, and we'll make sure that it makes as much sense as possible. People need to know.
So Shay, you have contacts down in the U.S. and just can you give us a prelude to what we're going to hear about in a moment when Brian comes on and his guest from the U.S. What's going on down there?
Well, Americans for America. I mean, if you know, Brian and I started this, and along with Vince and a few others that you'll meet tonight. And that's just kind of what we do and what they do down there too, is helping people. It's now a foundation, and I'm still doing what I can from down here. I know Brian and a lot of people down there have worked really hard to get a bunch of donations in water from Hagerstown and Fredericton all the way down to Ohio and that today. I've been trying to get all of this going myself and just catching a little bit of this and that. So that's why I've asked Brian and Vince, and they're big parts of this too. There was only a few of us that got this going and off the ground, and they're doing amazing down there while I'm here. So it's definitely important that we support them, and
So what are the first steps that are being taken to get this rolling? And what would we call this? This isn't really a convoy, or is it an aid convoy, or is it like a single truck, or what are we looking at here?
You know what? Like I said earlier, I'd be blessed if we got one truck that would go down. If there's more than one that we can get full of donations, then like I said, I'd be like over the moon with that. But if we can get one truck with, full of donations, when we get Brian and Vince on there, basically, because they've been down there of more of what they need. But Brian was saying yesterday, baby stuff, kid stuff, feminine products, water's always a good thing too, right? But those are the things that are kind of needed. But once they come on the show, then like I said, Brian's been down there, boots on the ground most of the day. So he definitely knows more of what's needed down there. And yeah, so they can obviously fill you in a little bit more of what's needed down there. But and what we can do to help. But like I said, if we can get at least one truck across the border and down there, that'd be great. But if we can do more than that, then that's definitely a blessing. So.
And you said you got at least one truck, and what truck is that? I think it's a truck of note, isn't it?
I'm hoping for one truck. So I've talked to some people. I'm not putting any names or anything out there.
Okay.
I want everybody.
I see that smile. I see that smile. Rick's got an idea. I know where he's going to go.
Lamont, wait. I want everybody in this country to put their differences aside at this point. I don't care what everyone's discrepancy is. Sorry, my phone's sliding here. I got to fix it. Whatever people's issues are amongst each other or groups, I really don't give a shit at this point. I want to see Canadians step up and do what we do best, and that's pull together and help these other countries. So whether somebody doesn't like somebody or thinks they're being divisive or they're an asshole or they're rude or they don't like what somebody's doing in the movement, that is not what I am reaching out for. I am reaching out for to see what Canadians can do to help the U.S. And the rest of that, I don't want to be involved in. So I know we can do it. So I don't care what people's opinions are or where their shit is. I am not getting into that. That is not what this is about. This is about Canadians doing what we do best. And putting all of that other stuff aside, let's do what we do best. And the convoy showed that, right? So, Rick, you get what I'm saying, buddy, right?
Yeah, I'm picking up on it. Yeah.
You pick up what I'm putting down, buddy.
The important thing is that the aid gets there. And you mentioned water. That has to be one of the most important things right now.
Right.
To get to the people there, right?
Clean
water.
Well, no more, because like I said, Brian has been more boots on the ground. Today he's been all the way there, took, a couple of trucks there and his own thing. But like I said, that's kind of up to them they know more about it because they've had boots on the ground all day of what more that we can help with. Mm-hmm. So I'm just asking Canadians to put all their differences aside and all their bullshit at this point. And if we can get one truck even, I'd be thankful for that. If we can do more than that, great. But I'm just asking Canadians to do what we do best and put your differences aside and let's get Ohio some help.
Okay. And Lamont, you say you have a sort of a team of people behind you already because you have an organization, right? So you'll bring that to bear on this?
Well, we'll certainly do our best because, this has only been a conversation for the last couple of days.
Right.
And I think just like we saw the convoy kind of begin from its rumblings to where it went to, is that we never know what kind of energy this can catch on with. Right. That being said, I know that Shay and Brian have been working with these people before, and I think they've done great things in the past. And I think you're right. Listen, I'm as jaded and pissed off as anybody during this freedom movement in Canada is, and I have good reason to be because the attacks that we've received are completely horrendous. But at the end of the day, we always stayed up and kept up because we were, as you can see in my bunker here, is that we have kind of created an organization of people that basically was able to see through all the stuff that was going on because, bad people have a loud voice. And really, we've always wanted to keep behind the scenes and be wisdom holders around what we're doing here because this is a big thing, big picture. So tomorrow on that channel, we'll be doing some interviews all day from noon until about 7:30 at night with about 5 or 6 different guests. And I think what we'll do is we'll have a conversation with Shay. She'll let me know what's going on real time. Because we got to come up with a funky name for this, either like help. Something's cool. We got to put our heads together for cool catch hashtag. And
it's got to have eagle in it, right? Americans for America have an eagle. I'm the eagle. It's got to have the eagle, right? Can you put that on?
Absolutely. Right. And so we'll bring this up during the interview tomorrow. We'll find a way to talk about this kind of meandering it inside of the interviews. Mm-hmm. And we'll ask our people for some ideas and we'll get involved as much as we can because at the end of the day, we just got to get this out. Social media is an amazing platform for a lot of people to get involved. And, if we do end up having any kind of donation website or somewhere where we're sending the money is that we will make sure that whoever does this is going to be, holding some pretty serious accounting principles in line. So that magically the money doesn't disappear for somebody's piece of real estate that's out in the country somewhere or whatever. Like it'll be real time. And I know that we want that.
it'll all be live streamed. It will all be
Has to
where,
be.
yeah, it will all be definitely accounted for, because like I said, there's just too many things in this movement, where people, and we all know that. We don't need to get into that. That's not what this show is
Yep.
about. But
Yep.
there's the accountability, and that's where every penny is going to go, is to how we can get that truck or trucks to Ohio and those supplies that they need. So, and we
Let's
definitely
just say this, guys. We all know that bamboozlery can happen when money's involved. It's human. It's gonna happen.
Right.
Through this movement, or for whatever the awakening movement's going to be here in Canada, is that we're never going to stop, administering money for things that we need to do, because this does not fly on unicorn poop and monkey brains. We got to do what we got to do, and we got to make sure that people feel good about this. I want to see good news come from what's happening in East Palestine, and show people that we can come together. And if we keep it real tight with really good people, and Rick, I would say you're part of that, right? Shay, myself, and a couple of key other people and stuff, and keep it clean. And we'll make sure, because as soon as confusion starts to happen and people start asking too many questions of people that don't know the answers, confusion can happen. Everybody looks bad. And we'll always know what those figures are. We'll always know where the money is going. We'll know the administration and the logistics of what's going on here. So it's exciting times. Thank you for being a part of it with me.
Yeah. So I guess the first steps will have to be online assets, like a website, donation things, right? A truck, and then figuring out your logistics, how people can get the items to you to donate. And I guess as you maybe drive along, you pick up on route or something like that. But this is all very preliminary.
Right. This is all just the kickoff. I'm hoping to do this within a weekend, meet up with some trucks that are leaving in New York next weekend. I mean, I'm just putting this out there. Who knows? We've seen what our country can do and how fast we can do it. It's just, again, asking people to put their differences and that aside, and let's just make this happen. And I know we can do it. And if we can get these trucks and these people to meet up across the border in New York next Saturday and take it out to Ohio, then I think we're doing what our country does best, and we need to help them.
Yeah, and I know, Shay, I think this was really your brainchild. You must have, you sort of, as soon as you saw it, what are you laughing about? Well, it's true, isn't it? You came up with the idea.
Lamont said last week, and that's why he's like rubbing his eyes. It's like even last week, and he was talking about me. He was like, well, we got to see what Shay Eagle does next, because you know what? It's like, it's like, but you guys know me, and I'm always going to fight for the people, whether it's here and America's important to me now. And my friends are over there. My family's over there. And, I'm going to fight for the people that I care and I love about in our countries. And I'm a patriot, and whether that's here or whether that's America, all over the world, I am going to do whatever I can. And, people keep saying to me, Shay, you have so much power and I've been following you and we support you. Well, I'm going to put everybody to the test with that, and Lamont too. I don't think I've ever reached out and said and challenged my own country to pull together. And, you got to remember what America did for us after the convoy, and how they all stepped up and carried our Canadian flag after everything we did in Ottawa. So, if this is a way of saying thank you to them, they stood up for us when we needed them. And to me, that's how we can do that too. So that's where I'm coming from as patriots, and what we do best as freedom fighters.
And man, when I saw those pictures, that video come out of East Palestine, that toxic black cloud of smoke.
Right.
Unbelievable.
When you talk to Brian too, Brian has said that they're from whatever they're burning in Ohio is actually, in Maryland, where, he lives, and I was there too, and is on his vehicle. And those are things that you can talk to Brian about. But exactly what is happening, even, Ohio to Maryland or Boonesboro, where Brian is. So those are things that, we can talk about there, and, the animals that are dying and the livestock and all of that too, right? Like Vince and Brian are are more aware of that, what's going on. But Brian can tell you the effects that are happening, even 6 or 7 hours away from Ohio where this is burning. So yeah, it's definitely a problem, and it's something we need to pay attention to. And these are, cancer causing agents that are in the air that are also coming our way. It's not just in America. I mean, it's coming this way too. So, we just need to keep drawing attention to this and talking about it and helping the people that are down there at this point.
And the need is obvious because Biden took off on a trip to Ukraine and Poland instead of taking care of the folks at home.
Is that kind of like Trudeau when he ran out of Ottawa?
Well, they seem to operate from the same playbook when it comes to things like this, right?
And they run, like, what the hell is with that shit? I don't know, but thanks, Biden. The Canadians will all be, but thanks a lot.
Yeah, but Trump went and he stopped at McDonald's.
You know what? Trump is a great guy, and I hope to meet him. And you know what? I don't care what other people say about him. He's doing what's right, and I'm never ever going to say anything bad about him. And you can talk to Brian and Vince probably about Trump too, but I'm definitely a Trump supporter. And yeah, Trump is definitely where he needs to be at the right time, and good for him.
And I think he made a good point. I think it's because Trump went and started making headlines. That's why the federal government in the U.S. actually responded and decided to finally step up and do something to help the people. Any thoughts on that?
It's probably the only reason, right? Like, it takes people like Trump and people like us to, bring some noise and make shit happen. So good on him.
And I think that's, sorry, go ahead, Lamont.
Well, I was just going to say, we've seen enough to know that there are people that take advantage of the negativity to create drama and all that stuff. And even with people that stand up as leaders, it's a crap bucket mentality. Either they just can't handle the fact that somebody else has an answer or at least trying something new to help the people, or they're getting paid for it. And here's the thing. It doesn't matter how it happened. It doesn't matter who shows up. At the end of the day, the people cannot be left behind to squalor themselves, because this is what they want. They want these people to be forgotten. And they want them not only to be forgotten, but they also want us to stand up and destroy our very own countries with the Great Reset. They want us to do this. So we have two choices. Do we sit there and do nothing, like in Lord of the Rings, right? Or do we go in there and, face the righteous cause? And at the end of the day, that's all we can do. And guess what? If we keep it tight, we make sure there's communication logistics that are taken care of by mature people whose ultimate mission is to help the people of East Palestine, we're going to be great and everything's going to be awesome. So that at the end of the day, if anybody else starts to squeak their beak, they'll be quickly shown to be the person that are causing the problems. Okay. Because so there's the thing that we're doing out there. Here it is. We're using a problem to see who's got the worth that's ready to do something for the people and wake up, right? It's from the negativity. We'll always stand up to these people and we'll always wake up, because let's look at it this way. One thing the truckers convoy did, even if it only lasted 3 weeks to a month or so, is that it woke up a lot of people who were on the fence. It woke up the international community. So what happens if, the president of the United States doesn't go and help these people, but a bunch of ruckus-causing Canadians come down with their truck and come down there and help? I mean, that's going to give the people in the U.S., some real heartfelt connection, because there's only a border there separating us. We're not separated. We're not.
We're not separated. That's it. It's a border. That's it. But we are never separated.
We are the same people, man. If there's anybody else in this whole flat or round world or oblong or whatever it is that we are as close to those people as anybody else in the world. We are. So we'll help them as much.
And it's actually a fairly simple thing. There's a need, and you're stepping up and trying to help just by sending people what they need.
And that's what Canadians do best. And you know what? People have forgotten that this last year. And like I said, there's been so much infighting, and that's all I want to see is just people put their differences aside and just do what our country does best.
Yeah.
Help people that are in need. And, if the freedom fighters can do it and the truckers can do it, even like I said, one truck would be, I know we can do it. I mean, we showed the world what we could do. So.
Well, this is very simple. I mean, you don't have to agree on politics or anything, really. You don't have to agree on a single thing. You just have to get behind this one single idea, which is just to help people in a
Pe-
very simple way.
You help people that need help and
Right.
that are suffering, and that's what we do. And I
Simple
hope
as
Okay.
that.
people on
Are you,
board to make that happen.
are you hearing anything from Brian or the other organizations over there of any other Americans that are planning any kind of intervention over there at all?
Well, Brian and Vince are supposed to be joining us, as a matter of fact. So
Okay.
I don't know backstage yet, Rick, or but
Yeah, they're
Brian,
not. Yeah, I don't see them here yet, but I'm hoping they'll be along shortly.
actually, Vince said he's having a problem with the link. Hang on a second. Let me text him.
Okay.
Right now, I'll tell you, the only issue Rick and I are going to have is who's got the better haircut on any given day. Really. That's the only place I can see us having an issue right now. I'm letting my hair grow so that, I can kind of fit in with Rick's great hair. And outside of that, if we can just fix that one, if we can just deal with that, everything else is going to be just A-okay.
Yeah.
I think we'll be fine that way. No?
So tell me about your organization and the resources that you have available to help make this happen, Lamont.
Well, at the end of the day, it's about the people. Okay, number one. And we know that the right people, when they're behind the right cause, will get behind what's happening. And, there's been a lot of, like you said, division, drama, all the name calling and all that kind of stuff. And you can't help that from happening, especially when the trucker convoy had tens of millions of dollars rolling around people's heads. Okay. Now, where all of that went is going to be something that the future will hold in the properly constructed investigatory bodies that we're going to help get behind. Because at the end of the day, Rick, I'm sure you're pretty much really curious as to who's really in the freedom movement of Canada that's actually making a difference and who's willing to work together for the creation of what we create in the future. So with us, the power is with our people, because honestly, after we went through those charges in January of 2021, where I was arrested and I had all my conditions based on that, and all the media that was happening from these other people that were trying to control the narrative against us, and a lot of hit pieces that were out there, is that honestly, a lot of our support when it came to donations or whatever we were doing with the people in the streets dried up, because they were starting to believe the freedom politicians that were then talking to the rebel newses and those kind of guys that were then getting that message to the patriots. And so there was a lot of stuff that we couldn't talk about. Okay. There was a lot of stuff that we couldn't talk about, because you know what it looks like when you're trying to defend yourself. I'm trying to defend myself personally, then people are like, oh yeah, he did this and he did. So now what I'm doing, Rick, is I'm waiting for people like Shay or Debbie or Krista or Natasha, all these people, Helen, all the people that work with us behind the scenes now are getting to watch what's going on so they can defend us themselves. Because at the end of the day, all we want to do is we want to be there for the people again and give them a true answer, a true reason to then want to be a leader in themselves. I mean, look at Shay, for example, right? Shay, back in the day, a year ago, when you were there in Ottawa and stuff, did you consider yourself to be a leader yet?
No, I didn't think a year ago that I would be anywhere the voice that I am today.
Right.
No, I didn't. That was never ever my agenda. That is not something I set out to do. It just kind of happened.
Well, now it's a little bit easier for you to do that, because now you understand what someone like me had to go through and what happens when you become relevant. When you start to be relevant in the cause, then all the people come after you and want to attack you and take you down. And until you become relevant, you'll never know that. So we've always been about talking with people and becoming either a follower or a supporter, because there's a big difference between being a follower and a supporter. Right. And ultimately, a supporter is somebody who not only shows up on the ground and is there, boots on the ground, having you help, but also involve themselves financially. Okay. But a leader is now somebody who will take it upon themselves to take on something on their own, where I don't have to be there to hold people's hands anymore. I'm only one person who never planned on any of this, just like you didn't plan on becoming a leader in what you're doing now. You didn't. But as you started to see this happening, there were people behind you that were going, Shay, you can do this. Shay, you can do this.
Well, you know what? It's the first thing that I have ever done. And you know what? I've been tossing and turning, and I'm thinking, I don't know. I've hummed and hawed, and I put out, like I said, a lot of messages. And but it's in my heart, and I'm like, you know what, I'm doing it. This is the first thing, and if like I said, if it works, it works. It doesn't, it doesn't. But this is, I've always been behind the scenes, and people say, you know, Shay, you need to do more. But so this is, I am taking that leap of faith finally after this year and having some balls and courage and just just winging it, you guys. Like, this is what we need to do. And if it works, it works. It doesn't, it doesn't. It's not about a name or a position. It's, you guys all know my stance. I am there to help the people no matter what. And if I have to carry shit on my back, I will.
But here, you know, the thing that Rick was asking me is how can the line help? How can I help? So here it is. I can help with online stuff at promoting whatever it is that I can do. I can put posts out, you know, to help with what's going on. I'll share it. If we can start to work together at making sure that every level that we get to at creating this will be put out there, I'll help become a part of that and be a supervisor on what's happening, just to be eyes on it. As for me handling money, it's like, let's create an organization or a way for us to have that super see-through and accountable. Okay.
Right.
With somebody that we know who's a little old lady who's used to being a bookkeeper, and we'll have a running total as to what comes in, what we need the money for to do that. And let's all agree when we need certain money to do certain things with. Right. If you need someone to drive, if you need somebody to go down there with the crew, I'm available. And I know that once we go, more people will go, and whatever we need.
I want Canadians to remember that, you know, right now, you know, the babies need to be looked after and the children. And, you know, we are all about protecting the children no matter where they are. So, like I said, when Brian gets on, I know, like I said, their boots on the ground there right now. I just messaged him, like, where are you? Ben said he was having problems getting on, so I resent him the thing. But, you know, definitely if the babies and the kids are in need, then that's definitely, that's definitely a hard one for all of us, for sure. So, but yeah.
Okay. Well, hey, hold on. You guys go ahead for a second. I'm going to ask Helen in our schedule tomorrow when it's available for us to maybe bring you on the show tomorrow, Shay, to talk about what you might need and what we need. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, again here. What the hell happened? Okay, there we are. Sorry, you guys.
I don't know. You went into a black hole there for a moment.
Well, I've been in a black hole more than once, buddy, but I always get out. You know what, Lamont, whenever, like, if we're on it, you know, whenever, like I said, I just wanted to get this out there. I put quite a few messages out, and like I said, Vince and Brian are going to join us in that. But I'm just, for the first time, just really putting a call out to Canadians. I don't know how this is going to go, but
so you don't even know at this point what city this might start in, or do you?
Well, I'm in the Niagara area. So, you know, basically it's getting a truck loaded, getting it down here. And that's basically where it's going to take off from next weekend. Like I said, and hoping to meet up in New York, right across the border, and join up with some trucks that are leaving there heading to Ohio. I know Carolyn Collins has some trucks down there and some people that are going up. So I haven't been in contact with her directly, but I know Brian and others have. So
no, I think there's also there's already some aid rolling toward East Palestine, or
well, Brian and
maybe even there already. Do you know anything about what aid has already been arranged?
Well, I know Brian and a few of them, like I said, he can tell us more about that, but some trucks, and he brought a trailer and a semi that full of donations. I know that he was doing a drive all week. And they left early this morning. Like I said, I haven't been able to follow too much because I've been trying to do all of this, but getting it there. And I know that he had a few trucks lined up and a lot of donations that reached the people today. So, and again, he just kind of winged it and turned into something that was, you know, pretty overwhelming, even for him as a big man. Of wow, you know, like the people just kind of pulled through. You know, you just wing it and you go out there, and he's only in Maryland and reached Frederick, and all of these people, you know, tons and tons of stuff went out and has reached there now. So if you go on to Americans for America, the Patriots Lab, and Suit Mama, apparently they have some footage too, of exactly. But like I said, I've been busy trying to get all this going too. So I know the boys are supposed to be joining us. I just sent a message, and hopefully there's still boots on the ground there, and they can actually show us what they are doing. I know that they were unloading stuff in that. So, yeah.
Hey Shay,
Yeah, it's
are you able to meet up around 11:30 tomorrow morning?
Like what over line? You mean like?
Yeah, because what we'll do is we have our first show tomorrow at noon with Krishna Diva and Stan to talk about their bartering network. So I was thinking I'll be in there at Hughes tomorrow early, so maybe we can do it at 11:30.
Yeah.
For maybe a half an hour. And
Okay.
Rick, I mean, you don't need to be there if you don't want to be, because for you it's Mountain Time, right?
Eastern time.
Well,
You're
it's the same
Eastern?
as us.
I'm in Ontario. Yeah.
Woo, woo, woo. Okay, cool. As somebody who does interviews, that's awesome, Okay, cool. So I'll stay here on the call if you guys need me. But tomorrow for sure, 11:30, we'll send you the StreamYard link, Shay, and then we'll have another conversation and keep going with this. Maybe even daily we could do an update, so that people know and keep on top of what's going on here.
Now, Shay, you mentioned Soup Mama. Have you been in contact with her? She's down there taking aid right now, I believe, right?
Right. She's down there with Brian and all of them. So
Okay. So I have a video from just a very short time ago. Is it okay if I run that
let's
from
see it.
her? All right, let's cue that up. Hang on just a second here and I'll grab that. Here we go.
We died. So I hope you all find your way in here. Because apparently my other phone is just done. It's toast. All right. So we had to switch phones. I apologize. Had to switch phones. So hopefully you guys can find this one.
I'll just bring the audio down there so we can chat a little bit about this. But
Right,
she's
guys.
on in a convoy and heading to East Palestine tonight. So there's already some help on the way, but obviously more to come.
They've already reached there, I think, and that's what I said. Brian to join us, but like he said, he's unloading stuff. Right, just join in anyway, so that we can see boots on the ground exactly what's going on there and how that community is put together to like feed them after they all got there, right?
Yeah,
Right.
sorry.
And can you explain for our viewers who maybe are not familiar who Soup Mama is?
Guys, it was on like 4%.
So
And
her name
it doesn't charge like
went to Heckler, went
the stream.
Sorry, your audio is breaking up there, Shay.
So
I think
you guys can please
start
let everybody
Hagerstown when all of the trucks pulled in there last year. And I think that's kind of when she started cooking for the people and feeding them. And that's kind of how the Soup Mama name came, is she started feeding people that were down in Hagerstown at the racetrack when, Brian and all of them brought the trucks in. So, and that's kind of how she got her name of Soup Mama and feeding the people down in the US.
Right. And obviously this is down in the United States. I'm not exactly sure where this video is being, fed from at the moment, but this is the U.S. side. It's got to be, fairly close to Ohio, if not in Ohio.
As they left early this morning, and I believe they were going to be pulling into Ohio around 1 or 2 o'clock. I believe so. Like I said, when I talked to Brian last, they were already there and unloading things. And like I said, he was going to try to tap in while he was still there. So,
yeah. Well, this video here was loaded just within the last hour. So this is very fresh. And I see we have Vince in the queue here. Hello, sir. How are you tonight?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm okay. So can you introduce yourself and tell everybody how you're getting involved?
I am Vince Sabin. I am the founder of Americans for America. And then I brought in my co-founders, which I just stepped in, so I don't know how much Shay told you. So that's how I'm pretty much involved, right from day one.
That's awesome. So can you tell us a little bit about the organization first?
What we are is we're building an organization that will help people where our government doesn't or can't, um, or they don't, such as what happened here in East Palestine. Uh, it took them 2 weeks to come in, and they still haven't received any help from our government. Of course, they have the EPA in there testing everything and saying everything is all good, but they had no help. And so we put this. I called everybody on about a week ago, and we put this all together in about a week.
Mm-hmm. So that's pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what's happening over on the U.S. side? We have video running right now of a convoy with
Yep,
Soup Mama. What's that all about?
that was the video. That video was taken this morning.
Right.
And they just downloaded it. That was our trip. We left Frederick, Maryland around 6. What we did is we did a donation drive yesterday. We also had a truckload come down from Albany, New York. Giselle International donated, and we all met in Frederick, Maryland, and we did a donation drive there yesterday. And we have other videos of that, of money that people donated, and we went into the Walmart and we shopped and documented it all, took pictures of the receipts and of showing that all their money was spent and where it was spent. And we loaded up the trucks, and at 6 o'clock this morning we headed for Ohio.
So you made stops along the way to collect donations and pick things
No,
up.
we made no stops.
Oh, you made no stops.
We did the donation drive yesterday in Frederick, Maryland,
Okay,
and
so
then
just
we
the one
left
place.
we left from there, and headed to Ohio. It was quite the experience. When we came into town, there was some mainstream media there that filmed us coming in. There was people all out on the streets, and we got there, and it was just people were crying and thanking us, and we were told that we were the first ones to do something this big. And so I think this is going to be a little different than what our original plans were for Americans for America Foundation. We're gonna work helping organizations that are not government funded. We want to bring attention to the vaccine injured and to the homeless children
right.
in this country.
Right.
And
So,
but I think we're going to start working this disaster relief and helping people that need it. And so we've already started networking with people from other states that want to set up teams in those states, so that way, if there's a tornado in Oklahoma, and we have a team in Kansas and a team in Texas, and we can coordinate and get in there to help them, right off the bat. If we can build up enough, we can bring in supplies and we can bring in bodies to help with people. I mean, it's
right. So Lamont kind of touched on this a little bit already, but can you tell me what steps have you taken to make sure that people can be confident when they're donating, that there's transparency and accountability?
Are we talking about me right now, Rick?
No, I'm talking about Vince. I just you had mentioned it previously, and then Vince also mentioned taking pictures of receipts and things like that. So just to kind of put people's minds at ease, what's being
everything
done
is being documented. Everything is being documented. We are working with a national accounting firm that there's a 501c3, so everything will be run through them. But we're being transparent as completely as we could. This was short notice, so we did a Cash App, and when the money came in on the Cash App before anything was taken out, we screenshotted it so they could see how much money was there, and then we went in and spent that money
Right.
and took pictures of the receipts so people knew exactly what was, we actually spent like $3 more than what was donated. But we had someone walking around, everything was live streamed while we were
Right.
shopping. We
Right.
had one of our team was on the calculator, adding everything up and keeping track of where we were in our spending. They were seeing what went into the cart. They watched, it was all live streamed of us being cashed out and the final numbers. So we did our best to make sure everybody knew where everything went. I mean, that is very important to us.
It is. Yeah. And on that,
there was problems in our other convoy, and a lot of people got questioned on where the money went, and so we are trying to do everything we can possibly do to make sure that anybody that donates any money to Americans for America Foundation know where their money goes. Know that, all right, if there's another disaster, which we know there will be, and people donate, we want them to know exactly where it's going. We
Canadian side, as
our
far
fuel
as
came out of our pockets. Our time
whatever
came out of our pockets.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And what kind? Sorry, go ahead, Shay.
is going to be just as transparent again, wherever that money is donated. I mean, Lamont and I are going to definitely make sure that it's all accounted for, and same things, receipts and live streams of where this money is spent, what we buy, what is going on the truck, what is whatever, because that definitely is a huge thing that people ask for, and definitely being transparent. So whether it's the US side or whatever we do here on the Canadian side, as far as donations and whatever we do, that it's definitely out there for everyone to see, that there's never ever any question of where that money went to.
It has to be.
Always.
I would think this. Whatever happened with the truckers.
Am I?
Go ahead,
Am
Vince.
I understanding that you are? Am I understanding you're going to take the idea to the north?
That's the idea, my friend. Right down here,
build the same type of.
Lamont and Rick, and
awesome.
Like I said, is I'd be blessed with one truck full of supplies. I know Brian has mentioned that baby supplies and women's needs and the kids and that. So I'd be blessed with one truck. I mean, God willing, there be more. But yeah, definitely, that's what I'm doing on this side, Vince. Is trying to do that. Just winging this, man. Just
well, Shay, I want to say I'm honored and very blessed to have spoken with you while you were in the States, and I'm honored that you're taking this to the north, because Canada needs the unity just as much as we do. And I tell you, what we just did, was not a political thing. I mean, it wasn't the Democrats, it wasn't the Republicans, it was the people of the country helping the people.
Right.
And I was asked earlier today,
when we started Americans for America, that was one of our things in the mission statement, was that this was never going to be political. This was about the people stepping up for the people, and nothing about politics. And that still goes. This is not a political move. This is about patriots taking care of patriots and people taking care of people. And that's the mission statement. And we pick up where the government left off. And like you said, they left Ohio hanging for a couple of weeks. And that is what we do. It's never a political move, and it's never about anything in our pocket. It's about helping our people, Vince. And
correct.
Right. It's never a political move.
Well,
it's about
somebody. I was asked today, what are some of the things that made me think about this and get this going. And I really thought about it, and I looked at this gentleman and I said, everybody says it was all, look what our founding fathers did to build this country. And
Right.
I looked at him and I said, yeah, our founding fathers sat in a building in Philadelphia and wrote up our laws and our guidelines. But the United States, America, was not built by them. What it was built by was, while they were in there writing up those documents, the people that were in this country were helping each other build barns. They were helping each other pick their crops. They were doing things to help us. If someone got sick and the farmer couldn't pick his crops, the community went and picked the crops for him so his family could survive. They were helping build each other's houses. That's what built this country. Not
And
our
that's
founding fathers writing the Constitution, but the
and
people of the country. And that's what we need to we get back to a sense. I mean, with disasters one after another that have been coming, and our homeless situation, our
right.
border situation. Oh my
Right.
Lord, you know, and our people need to start. You know, Biden just showed us 100%. I mean, this, I don't want it to be political, but he just showed us that America is not first. America is last. What is first to him is the Ukrainian borders.
Right.
It's not what happened to the people in East Palestine.
Right.
And, you know, we as Americans, or you as Canadians, need to step up and start helping each other where it be needed. I know you don't have the disasters up there like we do down here, but you've got snowstorms that cause major damage where people need help.
You know,
And you have
I,
things like that.
I
And
said at the beginning of the show too that, you know what, no matter people's differences, whether it's in Canada, the US, or whatever the hell is going on, that people put their differences aside, whatever, however they feel about each other or what group or whatever, people really put their differences aside at this point and do what our countries do best, and that is to help one another, and that's to help the people. And that's really what this is about, and what I'm asking people to do
what
in Canada and the US is to put their differences aside and let's do what we do best in helping one another get through these disasters and getting through on the other side the best that we know how.
what was amazing? What was amazing that I saw this last week is we had groups all over this country that went head to head over the past year and did not get along, would not work with each other, would not unite. Well, you know what? They did this week, and every one of them were just like, this is what we need to do. So,
Right.
Shay, I'm really looking forward to seeing the sign that says Canadians for Canada. That is
Buddy, like I said,
awesome.
I'm just this.
Write
You know,
that down, Shay. Canadians for hold on. Write that down here. I'm gonna
write that.
hashtag that shit.
So Vince, what kind of items did you end up taking there? What do the people need? And that will, of course, provide a cue for what needs to be donated on the Canadian side.
It was everything. We did a shopping spree in Walmart where we cleaned out shelves. We brought, oh, you name it. We brought dog food and cat food and plasticware and paper plates and blankets, and we had the truckload from Albany had some water, but it had quilt sets, bedding sets. It had ready to eat popcorn. What was it? Skinny pop. It had we bought baby food. We bought eye drops, a case of ibuprofen because people were saying they were having headaches, personal hygiene things, feminine products. We just went through and got anything that we could think of that people would need. We bought cleaning supplies, cereal, because we figure, kids would need cereal. we just, like I said, we just went up and down the aisles and went grocery shopping.
And so now
And
that you've
it was
arrived,
things that
what's happening
that they
now
need.
in terms of logistics, or how are you distributing the aid?
Wow. When we arrived, I myself and AJ had been communicating with the town and the Moose Lodge in the town, and I had spoken to a group called the Wow Station, and we pulled into a car lot that they set up and unloaded, and all that went over towards like next to the building, and then we put Brian's truck like right in the middle with of course, and now his truck is now lettered America's for America, and we had our banner sign up front of it. And what they did is they had an alley where people in their cars were lined up all the way, probably for a good mile and a half, 2 miles, and just kept coming and coming. And they went around the building and they'd come up the alley, and where they'd split, where a gentleman was directing them to take each side of Brian's truck. And on each side of Brian's truck, we were bringing supplies, and volunteers from the town were handing things into they asking people what they need. And they'd give them a case of water. They would give them a blanket set. They would give them snack items. If they needed diapers for their babies, they got diapers. We brought diapers. If they needed mouthwash, we were handing them mouthwash. Whatever they needed was passed to them that way. So if you go on to Jersey J Survival or Polish Agnes, both of them live streamed it all of how it was done, and it was just amazing to see.
Hello.
Not only us coming in, but the volunteers locally that stepped up. It was absolutely
and our other guest has arrived, Brian May. Welcome, sir. Welcome.
I got something for you right now. So that is ground zero. We are standing at ground zero right now.
They can't see it, Brian. I can't see nothing. It's dark. You got to show us. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
All that's ground zero behind us. We are standing on a property across the road that somebody has permission for us to stand here.
What is that? What are we looking at?
You're looking at where the train derailed.
Right there?
Right behind all them lights is where the train derailed.
Right there with... And all the chemicals dumped into the ground.
So you're on somebody's property that is close to the train derailment, and that's where that's what we're seeing right now?
If you see, I'm trying to see where it's out on the camera. That right.
Go to your left, Brian. Go to your left.
Yeah,
right,
you're
bring the camera to your left.
The other way, buddy. Go. You gotta move it.
Put that with your finger. Turn the camera to your left.
Go the other way.
Keep going.
Nope.
The other way, Brian.
The other way, Brian.
There you go. Keep going. Keep going. You're almost there. There you go. It's a little bit more.
Right there.
There you go. That's it.
Okay.
So that's part of it. Now look here. Hold up. Here comes a big container down the road. You wait here. You'll see it in a minute. It's coming down the road.
What's that?
This is this truck here.
There
you go. They're taking hazardous materials out of this area in that truck.
So that's what they're taking from the site, hon, and are taking out?
Yeah, so take it out, and they've been taking it to Texas and Michigan.
Yeah.
Okay, now over here, that's the other lay down site on that side. Okay. So that over there, all the containers you see over there by the tractor trailers and everything, that's where they're storing all their stuff. It's constant action here. Now you want to see something else. That guy right back there is FEMA and possibly some feds watching us.
So you're like right down there ready to get arrested again, honey? Like you just don't know when to like own or what?
Yeah, sure. Until I see the Yeah, he's literally watching my ass right now.
That's my partner in crime. I love him.
Yeah.
How do you love that guy, partner in crime? What the hell? You better not get arrested there.
Well, we'll find out because I'm gonna push until they come out of their vehicle because I want to see who they are. We've already taken pictures of their license plates. Well, good advertisement because their lights are on my shirt, which is the Americans for America Foundation.
Okay, so I was telling earlier that whatever they're burning there is hitting Maryland and where we were living and the truck. So tell me what's happening to the truck and what's happening with what they're burning down there and what's hitting Boonesboro where we were.
Yeah, so what we're told here that at nighttime the fumes get you can really smell them. They came down here at night and they said that down here at night that the people start putting hazmat on. So obviously they're doing stuff when people can't see them. Okay, so since we've been here, it's gotten very cloudy and hazy here, and it's gotten very strong now. It's a very like mushroom, sulfur smell. Okay, so and here's the truck's coming out. Your truck's coming out. He's got. I'm trying to figure out what he has on the back first. Some kind of something to clean water. It looks like it's a clean water truck. So he's heading out now. So he was back there probably pulling water out of the creek, and now they're either going to filter it or take it somewhere.
So clean water has to be a big issue there for people and a big concern.
Yes. We've brought many bottled water here today. The tractor trailers that we brought here today and my trailer full, when we left a couple minutes ago, they were pretty much out of everything but water. They're literally going through tractor trailers full of this food every day, and the cleaning supplies and the water and all that.
So what I was saying, kind of what you and I have been talking about, like baby supplies, kid stuff.
Yes.
What else can us Canadians do to bring down there, honey?
Okay, so what they're saying they need now is probably like cleaning supplies, baby stuff, women's stuff, feminine products. Another big thing is they're looking for air purifiers and water purifiers. So they all said they feel a lot safer if they could have purifiers in their homes. So that's another thing. Man, the smell's really getting bad down here. It smells pretty nasty down here right now.
What does it smell like?
Like a sulfur kind of thing, burning kind of thing. So I don't know. If they're moving stuff around and that's where we're getting the smell, or if they're doing something else with it. Yeah, it's definitely a heavier air down here. It's definitely very cloudy down here. We're about, we came about a mile down the tracks from where we donated today. And this is a situation a mile away. The people in these houses that are around here you see here aren't allowed to go back to their houses.
What's going on with the animals there and the livestock and all of that?
Well, they said that I talked to somebody today. They said that anything that's drinking out of like the actual river, the creek water and stuff like that isn't doing well. They've had some, die and stuff like that, but they haven't had mass dyings here. It's not like all the cows are going over and stuff like that, but they have lost some animals that are drinking out of the bad water. What they're also doing here, which they're saying they're helping, is you go to the creeks, they're churning the water in the creeks. And what they're saying is they're taking the chemicals out of it. But what they're actually doing is releasing the gas into the air. And that's what's poisoning everything. And that's what's getting in the atmosphere and coming along. Yeah, creek's being stirred. You want to go see it? Yeah, so we're going to go see one of them now, it sounds like.
Let's go see it. Lamont, you're shaking your head there and going, what the hell is going on, buddy? What are you thinking? You're just shaking your head. I see that shit. What's going on, dude?
The FEMA truck just out over here.
Well, number one, Brian's live over there. I don't want to take away from what he's saying, but I can understand from the studies that I've been researching and from the news that's getting out there is that these chemicals, when they came in from Chicago, they were fairly innocuous chemicals when they were apart from each other. Okay, when they were going down this train, but as soon as they set fire to them, they basically unleashed mustard gas. That's what this stuff is. Goddamn mustard gas. And here's the thing. Radioactivity has a half-life. This stuff does not have a half-life. This is going into the livestock, and it's going to get forwarded out there with the food and all this kind of stuff. So this is a bigger mess that we're making.
Yeah. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Good to see you. Hey, Shay, how are you doing, honey?
Hey, girl, how's it going?
It's going. This place is pretty crazy out here. This air is like super nasty and thick and gross. It's burning your nose and your eyes and your lips
and stuff like that. What are you experiencing?
Oh well, it's like oil on my skin. It's gross. It's like a metal taste, almost like it rolled in diesel fuel. Is kind of what it feels like.
It's a pretty eerie feeling here. I mean, you really feel like you're in a sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
Here, you know?
Like you can see the haze in the air over here. It smells really awful. So it's kind of wild. I've been live streaming all day, and you could smell this place before you even got into the town. Like it was absolutely crazy.
Lamont, you're just going like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it is.
So we're gonna get in the car. We're gonna get this other place.
Check out the creeks.
We're gonna show you how they churn the water in the creeks to say they're cleaning it, but they're actually releasing the fumes into the air.
Right, and we're gonna take you guys here on YouTube along with. We are.
What are you thinking, Rick? You're just sitting there going.
No, I'm looking up these chemicals,
right,
to see what I can find out about beyond what I know on a rudimentary level. To see if I can.
Are you able to turn these cams around?
Learn anything more?
Yeah. Oh wait, on that there, down at the bottom.
Rick, what's your email, buddy? Put it in the comments or give it to me here.
Yeah, sure. I can put it up on the screen here.
Did you tap the main screen and try maybe flipping it that way?
I'll send you what I got.
I still want to
sure.
Answer is here going.
It's Maverick Multimedia.
You can come back some more
at mail.com.
At Gmail?
Mail, just mail.
Yeah, I know.
What are you looking up there, Lamont? What are you
that looks
your head?
I'll copy you to the email.
Okay.
We have a gentleman by the name of George Frund who sends us real-time data every day, probably 3 or 4 emails a day, which we get to then disseminate and pick, because with every email is pretty much what's going on in the world real time all over the place. And we get to pick and choose what's real relevant and we need to put out there. And the information about these, about the chemicals that are there, have been put together by a gentleman who works in the field of these petrochemicals, and he went through kind of a
container's gone.
A projection of where he thought these trains were actually going, and his climb on this information is that basically those chemicals were heading to a harbor site because to store them for now, because they always want to keep it near a harbor site in case a toxic spill happens, and then they can just dump it into water, which they can clear later, especially the ocean, right? But what they've also been able to talk about is the fact that putting these together in that area that they were talking next to the harbor, next to the ocean, is actually an armament factory where they can actually put these kind of chemicals on top of warheads and missile sites and stuff, so that if they ever decide to do a missile strike on, let's say, Ukraine or Poland, they could blame certain people for that kind of action. That's why Biden went over to Ukraine instead of the site, because he had to go over there to Vladimir Zelensky or whatever his name is and say, oops, sorry, buddy, something happened to that site. We can't bring these chemicals over here for a false flag, bombing attack. So sorry.
Right. He ran the same as Trudeau did in Ottawa. He didn't want to answer questions, so he runs like a fucking asshole and he's out of there. They don't want to answer questions. They don't want to address it. Man, they're just out. So it's to the people to do what we do, right?
I'm going to copy you on that email to Rick, also Shay, so you guys have that information.
Got it.
I would say, yeah, there it is. Thanks, boss. And here's the thing, there's a lot of people who speculate as to what they think is going on. And I always take those kind of speculation emails as like with a grain of salt, and I just put them aside and I kind of put my own pieces together and see where they make sense, because we can conspiracy theory all these things out of the window all the time. But let's just say,
but we know.
Yeah. So I'll send it off.
Dollar General and Family Dollar
and I'll mute myself.
We know what's going on. So
not gonna stop. Oh yeah, we can.
Yeah, we have to stop.
No, I was going to look for a better spot, but this is a good spot to show.
Okay.
Keep your lights on.
The fact that we know what's going on, and a lot of us do, whether they can call us tin hats or conspiracy theorists, we know what went on, we know what's happening, and it's not happening there, and it's going to happen here too. So it's just a matter of, taking it
over here.
Right? Where are you now, Brian?
Okay, we're at one of the churn sites. Okay, let me see if I can get over here. No, it's just running. So look, I don't know if you're not going to be able to see that probably. It's pretty. So they have a bunch of. Can you see it?
No, I can't.
Kind of dark. Looks like a lot of black there. Looks like a bush.
It looks like a bush. It's pretty dark there, honey. You gotta like.
Yeah, it's really dark. We're trying to find it. So let me tell you what's happened here. What they did is they've thrown like the little door things that you throw down to stop water and stuff.
Right.
Called buoys, okay? And all the water is draining through, but it's stopping the chemicals. So there's just a mass of it's just a massive slush behind this buoy. Yeah, we got a flashlight coming, guys. Bringing us one.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, look what's bringing us one.
Trying to show everybody the truth about what's going on here. So.
Hey, Brian, you got a light there? Let's see what's going on.
Coming. He's coming with the light.
Beautiful. Now, guys.
So you able to see it down there now?
I can't really hear you, but yeah, let me see. I can't. Tell us what you're seeing, Brian.
So you got the yellow buoy there. So the water is being stopped behind like a dam. And then all that stuff behind there is all the sludge that's being left behind.
So you guys whole setup.
So you have a whole setup of just
There's the hay.
Yeah, hay to stop the chemicals. Anything they can do to stop the chemicals from going down the creek.
Oh.
And then right under.
Can you get near the water, honey, and let's see what that looks like?
It goes literally under the houses.
You can see the pipe there coming out. And this goes.
Look, it literally goes under the house.
And it literally, this is her basement.
You see that?
Guys.
I see that. Yeah.
Right above this. The house is right there. It goes under their house, the polluted water.
That's a storm sewer there.
And this is a storm sewer right in front of you.
Public sewer, septic.
So obviously the people that live in that house are not there, obviously, right?
Yes, there. He's the guy holding the flashlight.
He's the guy holding
The flashlight that lives there.
Somebody is living here.
There are people living in that home. I
Remember that yellow water I sent you. Yeah, that's safe to them. So
this is pretty great. This is the other side of the hay
How
bale.
are they feeling? So the people that are living in that house, are they sick? How are they feeling living like in that?
Are you feeling here?
It is what it is. What are you gonna do?
Are you feeling sicker since this all happened?
No.
No. So he's feeling.
No, I haven't felt sick. I'm not complaining of any health issues. I'm not. It is what it is. Unless you pay for someone to move, I'm a renter.
Right.
I'm scum.
No, come on, no.
No, but you know what I'm saying.
No,
you know what are you gonna do?
Aren't in a great boat either.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Right. So you're doing what you got to do to live.
What are you gonna do?
Okay.
So we
live.
live.
I was explaining to people, like a lot of people are like, "Why don't these
Even if
guys
you're a
move?"
renter,
I said,
the person
you
who
know,
owns the house
it's
needs
hard
somebody to rent from
financially.
them to be able to make money. So it doesn't matter whether you own the house or whether you rent the house. You're still a person.
Affected by what's going on, whether you own it or not.
Right.
No, absolutely.
Right.
I'm just
You're
saying over.
affected by what's going on. So that doesn't mean just because you rented that you're nobody. You're just as important as somebody who owns that house.
Right. We agree.
Yeah, we've got to find places. Yeah, and there's people out there that are advertising.
I will take you to the churn station. I want you to show you one of these churn stations.
Are they still doing it around the corner?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna go around the corner, and I'm gonna show you one of these. It is amazing what they think they're doing to help people, and they're actually making it worse.
So you were saying earlier that they're arresting people. So many people, like, that's why I'm saying, well, you're actually pretty close without being arrested.
Well,
but
yeah, you know how me. I was trying.
I know, but
Actually, I was the lady here is a local, and I was respecting her because she said the guy that owns the property hasn't been giving anybody problems, letting them on the property, so we don't want to push ourselves and lose that access to that property.
Right.
So me, if it wouldn't have been through her, I would have walked right down the road. So, but out of respect of her, I wasn't going to do that.
Well, thank you for that.
Yeah. Well, I might get arrested before we leave here tonight. We'll see.
No, don't do that. Just like stay within your limits, all right? You're just trying to show us what's going on. They're not getting arrested.
I want you definitely to see this churn site, as I call it, because to me, it's just absolutely ridiculous that, them taking the water and churning it, they're literally picking it up and just churning it over, thinking, okay, that like filters the chemicals out. Well, no, because you can actually see it looks like a white foam all over the water. And then, all that's being released into the air, which everybody's going to breathe in again.
But yeah, you can't just turn the water and then just expect it to be okay and people to drink it and breathe that. I mean, you can't do that.
Right. And most of these people are here drinking the bottled water we're bringing them. They're not drinking the water here. Now, another thing is, I don't know what that guy's situation is, but we found out here in the town, people will not say they're getting sick. They won't say that anything's wrong because they're actually afraid they're going to lose their jobs or, things. The government will, if they say it's bad, the government's going to take a stand on them or something. So they're scaring the people in this town.
Well, that's the tactic that they use on everyone is fear, right? So
right. So that guy, I literally, if you stand there and talk to him, you can tell that he's got a kind of a little breathing problem and it's talking weird. So he just doesn't want to admit it. I mean, and that's fine.
Everybody's scared.
Right. They have everybody scared, and it's a little small town. I mean, it's a couple blocks back and forth, a couple miles.
Can you turn on your lights so we can see you in the truck?
Yeah, I can go inside here.
So what else that we need to bring down there? What did you guys bring today? You said you brought a lot of water and stuff. So what else can we do from down here to bring up that way?
So we literally brought everything. Now, I would say the biggest two things, if you get your hands on air purifiers and water purifiers, that is a huge new thing that everybody's asking for. Feminine products, baby products, and always can never have enough cleaning supplies. Even if, mops and gloves to clean with. Vinegar, because some people can't clean with regular cleaning stuff, so they have to clean with vinegar. So vinegar's a big thing.
It's also really less likely to have a reaction with the chemicals.
Right. So vinegar is more of a cleaner product than some chemicals.
Yeah. Vinegar and baking soda.
Vinegar and baking soda.
Yeah, we got all of those things.
Lamont wants to ask you something, Brian.
Yeah.
Well, actually, Brian, it's okay. I mean, you can hear what I have to say here. This is something that I want to just put out there because I've been on the phone to Dave Steenberg to see what he could do in the way of a truck and what his opinion was or what's going on here. I'm going to try to get him on that show tomorrow, Shay, at 11:30. But he is working. He's always working, as you know. These guys doing the hauling and stuff. And his concern was because he's done this before, and because he's been working with the truckers for some time. And here it is that just from what I'm hearing from Brian is that it may be better for us to cross the border. Go down there and pick up these supplies from stores down there instead of trying to cross the border with that. Because what's going to happen is we'll have to fill out a whole bunch of paperwork.
Right.
And it's going to be a whole lot of problems because a lot of that stuff came from the U.S. anyways.
Right.
And we're just it's going to get stupid. And even if we try to bring mom's soup and a cake baked by Betty down the street, is that they're not going to let that kind of stuff in. They're not. So that's the whole point is we should have somebody on that side like Vince, Brian, other people that can have us exactly what we need to know so that we can go down there and we can get those cleaning supplies. That makes sense to me. Female supplies, which
load up that truck other side so that we don't have to worry about the border, so that we're not fighting, because that was a huge thing I was worried about is how do we get all of these donations, the truckers log, but when you're doing
guys, I got your insurance site. Okay, so this is what they're doing. They're using these machines to churn the water.
Let's see. So that's just turning all that dirty, filthy water and then just turning in, then the people are supposed to drink that.
And you see the slime on the water down there? I don't know if you can see it or not.
Yeah.
It's the whole edge of the water is covered in slime. Nothing but slime. It is so nasty looking. And all they're doing is using these machines you see. Right there, right here is one. And they're just churning the water, saying that's taking the chemicals out of the water. Okay? But all it's doing is literally when I'm standing here, I got a huge smell right now. It's putting all that chemicals in the air.
Well, you shouldn't be too close to it either. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know better than that too, right?
I know.
Get out of there, Brian. Like,
yeah,
we're working. Yeah, we're media.
You know what, Brian? Like, thanks, honey, for showing us all that. But I'm really not comfortable with you. Like,
that's fine. I got you. No problem.
You got this.
We've just been told we have to stay behind the cones, but that's fine. Yeah. Everybody has a job to do.
You're still a little too close for my comfort. You know that, right?
Yeah.
You're taller than me.
Oh, hold up. She just told us we can go over this way. Yes, he's helping us out. How about that?
Get the hell out of there now. We saw enough.
Your beard's going to be green in about 10 minutes.
We'll have to be sending some freaking cleaning supplies his way just to clean him up, Lamont.
Yeah, we'll just put him in a big old bathtub, put some ducks in there, put some dishwashing liquid in his head, and just start scrubbing.
Rick, what
This is good drinking water, they say.
Rick, what are you thinking when you're looking at all this shit?
I'm thinking about all the times I've done things like that in the past, and I'm wondering how much longer I have to live.
Right, and Brian's right in there. I'm like, okay.
How much time you have to live?
But get the hell out of
Oh,
there.
Rick.
Like,
Hey, if
I was
die,
gonna
because
try to
that's a hell of a
soften the blow,
lawsuit
Rick.
for everybody.
like I want you
Smells bad.
like get the hell out of there.
It's not funny really, because
really
if you're a firefighter or a first responder, you go to those kinds of scenes throughout your career, and you're exposed to these kinds of toxins from fires, and the cancer rates are very high for people who work in that field, right? And so it's not anything to be taken lightly, Brian.
And you understand
That building
Brian
right there, that's a municipal building, and the water runs right underneath the building. Right underneath the municipal building. That's a municipal building right back there in the background.
Yeah.
And
Do you understand Brian and I are a lot alike, them no zones where we're not supposed to go. We make sure that we go there. But you can get the hell out of there now.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah.
Yeah, you can get the hell out of there now. I would feel a lot better if you got away from
because the agitation of the water does vaporize the chemical water mixture. It does put it into the air. You are being exposed to it,
so, honey,
at least some level. It is, it's not
Rick,
great for you.
Guys like Brian,
get out
it goes like this. Okay,
that's their filter machine.
That's his filter machine. Okay, all he
Yeah,
knows is that people need help.
Right.
And as long as he sees the other workers out there unprotected, he's going to do the same thing. So you know what? That's like,
it's like talking to a wall, telling him to get out of there because he's going, yeah, I should, but no, I'm not. Because
I mean, he at least has the opportunity to leave, but the people who live in that area, they're going to be exposed to this day after day after day, and this is going to affect property values for people who live there. What are their homes going to be worth? These are serious issues and long-term issues. Right. And Brian, have you spoken to many of the residents who live in the vicinity there, other than the gentleman we just heard from who lives in that house with the water flowing underneath it?
Yeah, I mean, all day long we've been speaking to residents here. Excuse me. Some people saying, they got real sick right off the bat. When it happened. I talked to a guy that was 300 yards from it. He lived 300 yards from it when the train actually derailed. He gave some videos of the train when it first happened, burning, and it literally looks like a black mushroom cloud.
Yeah.
He also has a satellite picture. I'll send all these pictures to you all guys, but it's a satellite view up above, and it looks like
that photo that showed us, the mushroom cloud, it was insane.
Yeah, it's just the cloud is like black. Just the whole center of this cloud is just
we're gonna
black.
get those pictures up.
So Brian, tell us what happened to your truck, because you were telling me the other day that when they were burning this, there was stuff on your truck. What did you find out about that, and what was that?
So we never did get it tested. We haven't tested yet. It's still on my truck. It won't come off. It looked like when I came out like a bad pollen night. Okay, so I'm just figuring it's pollen. So I turned on the winch wipers to get it off. It couldn't touch it. It would not touch it. It took me 5 minutes to get my windshield clean enough that I could look out of it. It's still on my hood. You can take your hand and wipe across it and everything, but unless you take a chemical, it won't come off.
And Nucelar is how far from where you are now, like where we were to where this is being burned, and that is where we were living? How far is that?
Well, Ohio to Maryland. How many miles we come today?
What was it, like 3 hours?
208, 217 miles, something like that.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I think it's like 217, 250 miles, somewhere around there. So they know everywhere they have a bridge on this creek, they have another one of these churn stations.
It's on both sides of the bridge.
And both sides of this bridge, they're burning. They're churning water again.
Why is it still burning? Why are they still burning these chemicals? What's their explanation for this? Why?
They're not still burning them.
They're not still burning them now, she said. They're done burning them.
Who's that? Who's she? Who are you talking to?
She's a local in the area that's
Okay.
is taking us around, showing us everything.
Okay, so they're not burning it anymore.
No, they're done burning it. Now they've started moving the dirt, and they're taking the dirt and they pick it up and they truck it to Texas and truck it to Michigan. Okay, well now they said they have stopped that now too because Texas and Michigan really don't want their dirt anymore.
And just to be clear, the video we're showing here is now file footage. This is not happening real time. This main video window that you're looking at now. This is just for reference. You know what happened to give you a sense of perspective.
So that's what we're looking at now, Rick, is what they have burned. So that's not now, obviously, but that's what they did do. That's what you have footage of right now that we're seeing.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, I mean everything you see going up in the air. Obviously, it's it's a chemical in gas form,
right?
Which is twice as dangerous.
Ultimately, what they're trying to do is, this is a precursor to the Agenda 2030, where they want all of these smaller communities taken out by toxicity so that they can remove everybody for their own protection.
Right.
And then claim the land to be later on cleaned up for their mushroom farms.
Right. Which take how long at first before they take that over and then do that, right? This is all agenda. This is all the plan.
Yeah,
So
wonderful plan.
Park here, the Hope City Park here, they've ripped up and pretty much.
It's all intact, but it's all lined with these things to churn the water. It's lined with containers. All those work lights up there
And you
are
can't
dead.
get in there, right?
We're not. The rule is not after dusk.
Okay.
So especially with this, I don't really.
Right. I understand. No problem at all.
So, Brian,
what did,
that you're riding with right now, is she feeling sick at all? Like, to be honest, is she? You don't have to say who she is or show her, but is she feeling sick, or what is she seeing around in her community from all of this?
My lips
are
burning.
So she says she gets the taste in her mouth all the time, and her lips are burning, and her hands and feet. What did you say about them?
They feel like friction. It's not red, but it feels like it should be red.
Yeah, it feels like like a rash, but there's no rash there. Like it's almost burning her skin, but it's not red.
There's nothing on the outside. It's more like an inside, but there's nothing to see on the outside.
Like it's soaked in her hands, maybe. I don't know. It just feels weird.
It's known for central nervous system.
Okay, so it's
a cancer-causing agent, right? So it goes into the bloodstream, it sits in your cells, and does whatever over a mountain time.
Right.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I have the taste in my mouth right now. I mean, everything is dry. My nose is burning.
Okay, so I need to get out of there. I don't need you that close. So you've showed us enough, and
my nose is burning.
Well, that's the thing. My lips feel like I ate a whole bunch of.
The less you're exposed to that, the better. Showing us.
This is a safe zone, FEMA says.
Yeah,
just get the hell out of there.
Safe zone.
Like Lamont, really tell him get the hell out of there. Thanks for
run, Brian, run.
Get
Lamont's
the hell
going
out
crazy.
of there. What is going on, man? Fuck.
Rick has lost 5 years on his life already just from the sheer terror of watching me rub my temples on this one here. This is
I know we're brave and we go into places we're not supposed to.
Right.
Go take a shower.
Brian, get out. I need you still. We got a lot of work to do.
Right, man?
Yeah, got work for me to do.
I know he wants to show us stuff, Vince, but tell him to get the hell out now.
I think if a local lady here is not scared, why should I be scared?
Well, you should be more scared than her, maybe. Get the hell out of there.
Well, tell her to get out.
Says you really don't have a choice, so.
How about all of you just get out of there now?
But guys, please make sure you're liking and sharing this video.
But that is some amazing
Share
footage
it
you all
out
have
to
there too.
everybody so they can
Now
see
the
what's
locals, there's a
going
guy,
on.
like I said, that lived 300 yards away. He was showing me these exact videos, literally across the road though.
Yeah.
It happened across the road from his house.
Yeah, we've seen some incredible footage.
And we have some of them pictures and videos. We will be posting them later. I'll get them to you all so you can also do it. But this guy literally heard the bang and thought it was the gas station that blowed up. And when he found out it was a train, you know, he got out.
You know, really, Brian, honestly, here it is, brother. You know, get yourself in that spot to see what's going on. The people that are living there have a karmic reaction and, relation to why they're there. You don't have to be there any longer. Do your best to get out of that zone so that you can come back a little bit stronger than you came in, and just be there for the people. But honestly, bro, just go in,
and I
be first in, first out.
You got enough? Is what you're telling me?
You did what you needed to do, but yeah, I'd feel a hell of a lot better if you actually got out of there.
Yeah, we're in a
Walmart sell hazmat suits.
Do you have a hazmat here, right, Lamont? Where's his hazmat suit? He wants to be wandering in there. Like,
right?
Hell, you think he'd be wearing one, right? But
yeah, it's right next to the Walmart organic section. They have specials.
But to get one for myself, I got one for everyone else but me.
Right. The greeters at the front door at Walmart wears them,
Right. Right.
I can't think of anything else we can see during.
Brian,
so y'all want?
But this was where
What was that?
Southern was set up to with their family assistance center.
What was that?
Jersey J.
Brian, I don't know who's talking
has
behind
hazmat
you, trying to drowning you out. So.
Not really saying much. They moved.
I'm waiting to hear Vince.
Even though this is outside.
I said Jersey has hazmat suits and masks.
Yeah, I know.
Their assistance thing right here.
You think I'm gonna wear a mask?
Which is outside their 1 mile.
Yeah.
Oh, Brian, I don't know who's talking behind you, but it's overtaking everything else that we're trying to talk about. But I think Vince added something.
Yeah, they're talking back here. They're on another line.
Just so people understand what polyvinyl chloride is, it's a chemical that's used for plastics, and they use it to produce everything from PVC pipe to electrical cables. They use it in all kinds of construction materials, even clothing. Right. But it's toxic in its liquid state, and when you ignite it, when you burn it, it creates all kinds of additional toxins that are carcinogenic.
And sits in lungs and sits in cells of yours, and then just festers, and then it's not good at all.
Why they would set that stuff on fire intentionally is just beyond me.
I couldn't understand that when they lit that on fire, thinking, what the hell are they doing, and how far a distance is that going to affect our people? And it's even coming over here too, but I just couldn't understand why the hell they would burn that. Hey, Lamont, I
got 4 hours before I do that.
Well, I don't know if any of you heard, but we also had a plastics factory burned to the ground down in Florida, and they've evacuated an area around that.
We do in Quebec too. Yeah, there's something going on there as well too that we need to pay attention to. So.
I could actually read to you a little bit of an insider here of what the email that I just sent you guys.
What is it, buddy? Let's hear it.
What's that?
Let's hear it.
Sure. So the actual chemical composition of that liquid cargo was misidentified in what this person is projecting to be now a criminal cover-up. It's going to be that. It always is.
Always.
Obviously, for reasons of a planned covert military and intelligence operation in blatant violation of international chemical weapons treaty against the manufacture, storage, deployment, and use of lethal weapons or lethal chemicals in warfare or domestic turmoil.
Right.
There is sufficient evidence, even at this early stage, for those gas-targeted nations, including Poland, Belarus, Russia, and Ukraine, to initiate a case at the Hague War Crimes Tribunal against the Biden administration for planned crimes against humanity with scheduled deployment of a banned chemical weapon in a false flag operation. At the end of the day, there's people out there that understand why these people are doing this, because they've got the benefit of understanding all the maneuverings that these people are using, not only from the industrial side of why this happened, but the chemical, the biological, and also the military standpoint of what's happening here with this damn politics. And so as soon as this happens, these people get on it right away and they start to take a look at this. Frankly, I'm uneducated and ignorant around these kind of things. So I take a look at what's going on here and say, these are the possibilities that are out there. I'm not saying this, this is absolutely here set in stone that this is what's happening, but let's look at it this way, guys. For the last 3 years of what we've been going through in the world right now is that sometimes we can actually sit back with our drinks these days and toast to these masters that have been doing this to us for the last 3 years, to look at the amazing, like, this is pure genius what these people have done. Pure genius. So we're taking a look at a spill right now from a train.
This is a chemical that was banned back in 1974.
Right. And that's what I'm saying here, is that through through these chemical assays and stuff as to what this is that they've done it in a way where separated, these chemicals really had no other reason for being there. They were fairly innocuous, polyvinyl chloride and all that. No big deal. But when, like Rick said, when set on fire, which they didn't need to do, this could have been removed easily through the EPA. Simple, but they dug a trench and to make sure that it was sequestered for proper burning.
Right.
Nobody should do that. That was absolutely.
Can you all see the blue containers behind me back there? They're like square like shipping containers.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just found out they're full of the sludge that they pull out of this creek. And these things are all over the whole city. There's hundreds of them here. Everywhere you look, these blue containers are sitting. And what they are full of is a sludge that they take it off the top of the water and how they churn the water.
And doing what with it?
Rumor is they're taking it to Texas and making drinking water out of it and bottling it. They're actually filtering it in Texas and making bottled water out of it. That's what's been told, but nobody knows.
Well, we know that, but no one's ever going to say that.
Right. These tankers are actually being taken to Texas. So they're taken to Texas. What do they do with them? Are they dumping them in the bay? Are they making drinking water out of them? What are they doing? We'll never know. But the rumor is
we did start the broadcast with a news report from Fox talking about just that. They're taking contaminated water to Texas. Why from the report was not really clear to me, but obviously it's for disposal or filtering or whatever it is they're going to do with it down there.
Whatever they're doing. And that's what you started the show with. And that's exactly it. So, it's really good to have people, but yeah, honey, you need to get the hell out of there. I mean, thanks for showing you know what I mean, of what we see on like the news and that. And yeah, I think you've been close.
It's kind of weird.
That's what we started out with, was, you're right, Rick, was that of what they are doing and
yes,
that to Houston and whatever the hell they're planning on doing with it and feeding it back to us. But it's like, wow, you know what I mean? The lengths the government will go to. But this is,
and I mean, we don't know if they're actually going to filter it to use it directly for drinking water, but one way or another, that water still ends up in the environment and it gets recycled, through just Mother Nature itself. And I hope that they run it through some sort of a filter to separate the chemical and then properly dispose of the chemical. However you dispose of that stuff, I don't know how you get rid of that safely, but
certainly burning it was not
that was not the smartest idea. No, burning it was just insane.
I cannot even comprehend why.
Somebody was really not the sharpest tool in the shed.
Yeah, but it's all a part of the agenda. It's all a part of what they're doing to the people. It's not like, it's not the sharpest tool in the drawer. It's like, this is what the government is doing to Americans and Canadians. And it's happening all over the world.
Well, there is definitely going to be litigation
Oh yeah.
as a result of all this, and whoever made the decision to light that thing on fire, they'll be in court. I'm pretty sure of that.
It was that one guy that was smoking and just flicked that cigarette. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Especially with a chemical that was banned back in 1974 is the huge question is what the hell was it even doing? And then you burn it. So that's the huge thing is 1974, you're talking about something that was banned. Now there was a
they're gonna
blame
it on a homeless illegal immigrant who was smoking.
That's exactly what they'll do, Vince. Lamont is just shaking his head and Rick too, like, oh my God. But that's exactly what they'll do, right? It wasn't their fault. They had nothing.
They're gonna bring all that water to a Nestle water bottling plant in Texas. They're gonna ship it up to Canada and feed the new coalition.
God, be the new coalition. I can't believe you just said that and your hand is over your head like, what the hell did I just say? But you're right. That could happen.
You know, start having 6 fingers and shit like that. You know, that happens.
Your beard's already green, bro.
Yeah. We might be drinking in a little while, but he's right there. Yeah, right, Lamont?
Boys, yeah. Wouldn't be doing shots of anything over there right now, that's for sure. But
yeah, I wouldn't be trusting nothing down there at this point. So what do you think, Rick? You're shaking your head going, oh.
No, I just thought the whole thing, I mean, it was a disaster from the beginning, and then they made it worse by setting it on fire intentionally, which just defies logic to me. But
one catastrophe to the next, and then you burn that shit, and that was just like, wow, nothing like adding fuel to the fire. Ha ha.
No, I mean, if you would.
So most of the people in this town have generations and generations of their family living here, and they really can't go anywhere. I mean, you know, the whole family's here. Like, you know, it ain't like
where do you go? Where do you go?
Right, they don't have anywhere to go. This isn't you know, there isn't mansions around here. These are, you know, grassroots people that are making a living day to day. You know, so they just can't pick up and go somewhere.
So Brian, from what you've seen, what is the town like right now?
Right.
Obviously, this has been disruptive, but people are still going about their daily lives, going to work, just doing their regular things. But there must be some adjustments that they've needed to make in order to function because of concerns about water quality, contamination, and so on. What are you hearing on the radio? What are the residents being advised to do to stay safe as they try to live their lives as normally as possible right now?
With this,
water is safe, everything is safe. Go to school, go to work. You can wash your walls with Dawn if you're worried about it. It's all cool.
Yeah, so you heard what you said, right?
No, couldn't hear that.
No, we can't hear you. You gotta
Okay, so she said they are told to live life as normal. Everything's fine. The drinking water's fine. If you're paranoid, you want to wash your walls down, wash them down with Dawn, and go on with life.
Now, bottled water is recommended for wells until they're tested.
Right. So if you have a well, you're supposed to drink bottled water. But if you're municipally, you just go ahead and drink it because it's yellow and it's good.
Yeah.
Well, how does the are you aware of how the water filtration plants work there? Like where is the water source for the municipal water supply? And then it's obviously treated at the water treatment facility, but where are they drawing the water from? Did you know?
Yeah, we went by the water treatment plant. That, you know, it's one of the things we went by, and we were out here riding around.
And I think the city wells are in the flat part of the park up there that we couldn't see. That's what I heard.
Yeah, so the wells where they store it are up in the city park, which they don't allow you into after dusk.
So this city runs on the municipal water supply comes from wells?
Yeah,
and it's treated.
So it has, they use underground wells to supply the city with water.
Oh,
but it's treated, it's safe.
Really?
Holy shit. Wow. Lamont,
I'm just going to look it up to confirm
you
that.
just burning in the seat where you're sitting right now, buddy. You're just going, I don't know how your temples feeling right now. I could just see you squeezing them. Your eyeballs must be hurting. What are you thinking, Lamont? What the fuck?
Well, not only that, I mean, listen, we had a beauty salon opening the other day with family members, so we were out a little bit late, so my head's already a bit foggy. But when I hear this kind of stuff and there's not a damn thing I can do about it, I get a headache because
Can't do anything from here.
Okay, so that what you're seeing right there, okay, that pile of water, that little water right there, is what's left from 2 tractor trailer loads and my 22-foot trailer that we bought today, full. That's what's left.
I can't see that light on it.
We don't have no lights, so I'm just okay, I'll get you a little bit there. So that pile right there, that's it. That's all it's left out of 2 tractor trailer loads and a 22-foot trailer. That's all it's left from the people. We got here today, and for 5 hours straight, people drove through this parking lot and picked up supplies. We handed supplies out for 5 hours straight, and everybody in the city was lined down Main Street, which this is Main Street out here.
And thank you for telling us that, because, one of the truckers earlier said to me, well, it looks like they're doing okay there. And I went, by the time they roll in and the people come and get what they need, there's not going to be a lot left. And if the babies and kids and that are struggling, then that's
Main Street. As far as you can see, there was cars for 5 hours picking this stuff up. That's the trash that's left over after everything gets done. Obviously that's one badass looking truck right there.
Yeah. Never mind showing your truck. So
come on.
So whatever you guys brought down is basically gone, is what you're saying. So supplies still needed. Yeah, we see the truck. Just never mind. We're worried about supplies, not that pretty truck.
That's the one that brought it in, though.
Yeah, I know. Brought it down there. Smarty.
So every day, they're getting trucks in every day here and there. Nothing like what we brought, but people bring U-Hauls up full of stuff. We met another person up here that's storing stuff outside of town, helping some of the outside towns, but they literally run out every single day.
So I have another question. So are there any communities close by where people are going to that they like or for that they need stuff if they can't be in that town for health reasons or?
Yeah, there's all the outside cities outside of East Palestine, sorry. And say that right if you ever come here, because they're really offensive about that. It's Palestine. And so all the cities outside there, like Negley, where we met up this morning, and that they have received nothing, because everybody comes here because it's a good spot, like a central location.
But everybody's getting about the outskirts.
Yeah, so if we said the next time we come, because we're planning on coming in 2 weeks probably back here again, that we would hit the outside skirt towns. So because they're not receiving anything, they have to drive into East Palestine to get the stuff.
So if Canada can help out, then where do you suggest that we take our stuff?
I can get you in contact with the lady we're riding around with. She's the one from Negley. She lives in here. She's always lived in here. She knows all the contacts in the town and everything. The Moose Lodge here put on a banquet for us tonight, fed us like crazy. These people here are very welcoming to you. The news and everything, but they wouldn't come close to see what was really happening. And I walked up to all of them. I'm like, why are you standing, 200 yards away taping this when I can just, we can go right up here and I can show you the people. We can talk to people and get the real thing of what's happening.
Right.
We're here for, the EPA test and stuff like that. We're not really here to see that. I said, oh, you're not here for the good stuff then. Okay, I understand. And kind of walked away from them, and they were just like, oh, screw you. So, but yeah, Channel 5 and Channel 2 were both here today, national newses, and didn't want to really talk to us much. How you doing?
So I did look it up, and I guess they have 5 wells. They are all between 52 and 98 feet below ground.
Wow.
And that's the source for their drinking water in East Palestine. And the information is they are not within 1.4 miles of the train derailment site. But as in terms of safety, if I was living there, I wouldn't be drinking the water. That's just me personally.
Well, Brian said that yesterday, they have enough water, but I don't think there's ever enough water when we now see what's actually going on there and what they're doing with the water. So, definitely water is something I want to bring along with, the other stuff that, they need help with for sure. But, when you see the drinking water and what they're, that's definitely, there's never enough water that can go down there, right? And like Brian said, if, people are not focusing on the outskirts of this, I think that's where Canadians need to put their focus on helping the people on the outskirts, right? If that's where we can definitely help out and bring them with. Lamont, what are you thinking about that, my friend?
So as I'm standing here, I have somebody come ask me for water. How about that?
And here's some footage from earlier today when that truck arrived and the supplies are being unloaded.
Yep. I should be right in that trailer there somewhere.
Where are you staying?
Where am I staying? I have to go back home. I'm from Maryland.
Lamont, what are you thinking? Where are you thinking?
I'm home tonight.
Get supplies over there.
No problem. We'll be back. Okay.
Where do you want to see these supplies go, Lamont? If we can get these trucks and supplies down there to the outskirts where people are not really focusing on, is that where you'd like to see these trucks go?
Well, number one, until we get to that point, we don't really need to. I mean, it'll be something that we have to think about because the people that are there on the ground, I don't think Brian's going to leave anytime soon.
He's leaving soon, so no, he's not there and he's getting out of there.
In other words, it'll be good for us to figure out where that's necessary because, like you said, everybody is going to ground zero and they're not providing it in the smaller communities around. Right. So it'll really. What's that, Brian?
Me in the red shirt up here on the trailer, just to let you know.
Say that again.
That's me jumping off the trailer. Or that's Jersey J, sorry. I'm in behind that water.
So it'll be good for us to have a discussion with people that know about logistics and getting stuff over there. Like I said, there's really two options here. Get the money together, get yourself over there, and get buying supplies over there instead of having to cross the border. Because getting, a truck, I mean, number one, it'll be really expensive to get a truck over there, especially with the cost of diesel and all that kind of stuff. So tomorrow we'll have a better idea from talking with Dave, hopefully, as to what's possible and what we need at that point, because things are going to shift really fast. But I don't think there's going to be a lack of necessity to get this stuff to people over there. Like you said, cleaning supplies, feminine products, food, and cleaning supplies, because.
And out of canned food real quick too.
So Lamont, what you're thinking is basically to get me on the U.S. side again and then get a truck there and all the donations and that and load the truck up from there and go, which makes more sense than dealing with the border and all of that crap. But
it would be a lot faster.
It would be a hell of a lot faster than doing it here. I mean, to get me on that side and then have a truck on that side. And you're right. So we'll again talk about that tomorrow. When we go back on that channel tomorrow morning, but of how exactly to make this work and make it quick. And like I said, there's trucks that are leaving New York next week that, I'd like to see kind of all leave together. But that was kind of my concern, is even if we get a truck or two and supplies and that on this side is dealing with the border and how we get across, but getting me across is easy. And then a truck on the other side and working that way would definitely be a lot easier, I think, especially in a week's time. Well, what do we have? We're looking at 6 days is what I'm shooting for.
20 trains.
What?
That's how close our donation site was to the train site. It's the train's literally going right by our trailer. And they go every 15 minutes all day long.
Lord. So yes, Shay, it'll be a good idea to get on top of this. Like, I'm not an expert at this kind of stuff, and all I'm doing is going on information I'm getting as I go along here. So I'm sure what's going to happen now is that even after tonight's show, people will reach out to Rick. They'll say, hey, what do you think? Thank you for doing the show. How can we help? Rick can help administer some of that. Shay, you'll get some people feeding back to you. I'll get this link from Rick later on so I can post this on Facebook. I'll put it out there. I'll also put out the fact that we'll be talking tomorrow around 11:30 in the morning, and just see what the updates are and be on top of this. But at the end of the day, this is something that's necessary right now. And I would think that it would be a lot easier to, like you said, get some people going over there, and really staying outside of the zone as much as possible.
Yeah.
Going in, doing the job we need to do, and wear masks for the first time in our lives. And then, and then get out. Okay. I already have, green skin. So
we got thick skin, buddy. We can do this shit.
Come on, you don't wear a mask. What fun is that?
Since when are you muzzled, Lamont? Seriously.
With that stuff, hey, listen, COVID's bullshit. Those chemicals are not bullshit. I ain't dying that soon, okay? I already have problems with my feet right now. I gotta fix, okay? I gotta still stick around for a little bit of time.
I mean, it's only burning and I have a little headache. That's the only thing I'm getting out of it right now.
So you're getting like right away, right? Like you and I don't.
Yeah, my nose is burning. My lips are burning.
You and I don't have to have a discussion about this, right?
I have a little like a scum on my skin. I can feel the like slipping scum on my skin, and then I have a bad like
you have to have a side discussion about you getting out of there, right?
So, nah.
Nah, I didn't think so. I didn't think there needed to be a side discussion of like you getting out of there. You did your job. You did what you needed to do, and I need you to get out of there.
Yeah.
Do you see the attitude, you guys? Yeah. That's a typical.
I only got about a 4.5 hour drive home, so I'm kind of delaying as much as I can.
So let's just poison you a lot more before you like even hit the road there. Like seriously, man, get out.
Yeah.
Right, Lamont? Come on, man.
Well, hey, it comes from the bros, and it comes from the sisters, and I think Rick's going to reiterate that. And I'm going to let you guys know that I'm going to head pretty soon, because nothing is going to change over there. We got to get ourselves rested up for the day tomorrow so that we can get organized and get him the help he needs down there.
You do see a lady with a mask there.
I don't think she's worried about a whole bunch of things. When you're wearing, don't even start me on masks.
I know, but that's Polish Agnes. That's one of our live streamers.
She's probably in the right place to. I'd wear a whole like head mask, and have like a bubble over my whole entire head. I'd have gloves.
We had complete chemical suits, complete military mask, everything. He came here with it all, but we left in his vehicle, so that didn't do much good.
Wow.
But we had
so prepared because
The important thing is we brought it.
All right, but you're not
right. That's like having beer that's not in a cooler.
Drink it after it's piss warm.
Drink more beer. You can't trust the water. Just drink more beer. That's what they do in Mexico, right?
Yeah. I mean, the beer's definitely got to be cleaner than the water here.
Good call.
Oh my God. Do you want us to ship some of that too?
Sure. I'm sure they would love cases of beer.
So what were these people doing there today with this truck being unloaded? This guy with the flag and the people with the signs, what was going on there? Was that a protest or a show of support, or what was it?
That's one of our guys. His name is the Golden Chariot. He's also online. He's a live streamer, Golden Chariot. He is just like, he's like Shay. He's very hyper. He's got to be moving.
Okay.
So he run up and down the tracks with his flag, stood out right along the tracks with his flag.
I don't run with my flag. I run with my phone. Never mind.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's a nice shot of our shirt there. But yeah, people here, just the reception here was amazing. These people treated us like we were God, and I told them many times over, we couldn't do this if the people didn't donate. It's all about the people that give.
Always.
If the people don't give, we don't come here. We don't get our job done. Right. So it's really important to put it out there that the donators they're the heroes.
And let's understand this and say this out there, honey, too, that we're not about this for money. That you today on your own dime. You guys drove your own trucks. You put in your own money, your own fuel. And this is not about asking for money or putting anything in your pocket. So
not one red cent a day. I had 6 hours on my truck here, 4 hours on my truck back, my trailer, the gas in it, the food I ate today, none of it was paid for, and I didn't want it to be paid for. That's not what it's about.
Thank you, honey. Thank you.
And what can you tell us about the town that you've seen? I know it's a small town, only has a population of about 4,700 people. What kind of town is it?
Very small town, very poor. People here don't have a lot. Like I said, if this happened to them, they've lost everything. They have nothing. What they had is gone. They have nothing left. Another thing you can bring that people were asking for, bedding. They can't sleep in their bedding because their bedding is they had to throw it all away. So we brought bedding, but we didn't bring enough. We had 10 pallets of bedding and it went immediately.
So when the fire was burning, they had to leave their homes. Is that what happened? And then, of course, because of all the effluent that was airborne, it was getting into their homes and their air conditioning and their heating systems, right? And everything was coated. So that's what the concern is. They want to wipe everything down. Their bedding, everything has to be washed, cleaned.
Well, they
everything.
can't have no clean water to wash anything in with.
Right.
Yeah, so they can't wash anything, so they literally have to throw it away, and then you have to get them new stuff.
Because you're washing your clothes in that same dirty water, so that film
doesn't do anything. So, another thing is Dawn dish liquid, because if they're concerned and they want to wash their walls and counters and stuff like that, they say Dawn dish liquid is what will take it away. Yeah,
well, actually, when there's an oil spill, that's what they use to clean ducts and
right.
They'll even use it, right? Because it's very effective Dawn dish detergent.
They do.
You don't have that either.
And because polyvinyl chloride is a petroleum-based chemical, that the same procedure will, is probably the most effective.
Right. That's what they're saying.
Yeah. Heartbreaking.
It is.
And the people in this town, you just look at them and, there isn't a rich person in this town. They're literally grassroots people. Most of the families have generations of people living here, and they don't want to leave. This is where, a couple hundred years of their family have lived. They don't want to leave here, but, it's getting to the point where they're not going to have a choice. They're going to chase them out of here.
So for Americans for America, this was kind of our first thing that we've done, that you guys went out and did. Hey,
right. This wasn't what we planned either. This was done in 1 week. This was thrown on us, and in 1 week we made this happen.
Right.
Which you have to have great leadership, great people behind you, great contacts to make that happen in a week. We didn't really think we were going to do this well, and it just fell together. People just came out in droves. The only thing we had a problem with a little bit was getting trucks to haul it.
Right.
I'd rather not drove my trailer up here, but I had to. So you do what you got to do. It can happen quick. But if you
first one, how are you feeling about being able to help the people with this? Is like the first thing that you guys pulled together on that side. I'm doing what I can on this side, but I think for the first one that you guys did, I'm super proud. And
so I'd have to say that I've probably, and I don't like admitting this, but I will. I've never cried so much in one day, probably. Every one of these people tug at your heart. They want to hug you. They want to hold you. And when they hold you, it's real. Right. They are loving you here.
They're grateful.
Everyone makes you cry, and then they want to give you something back for what you gave to them. I'm like, no, that's not how it works. The people here truly appreciate everything, because
you've been pretty emotional for a few days, though, right?
Yeah, I'm worn. I really am worn.
Yeah, it's been a long, right? Yeah.
Even with the people bringing donations to us, you have people that you can tell have the money and they bring a whole truckload to you. But then you have the old lady that rides up and she says, "All I have is $4. Is that okay?" Well, you're damn right it's okay.
Yeah.
That's as good as the guy that brought the truckload. And that woman right there, she'll yank a tear right out of you. If you don't do it for the feeling in your heart, then you're not doing it for the right reason. Because that's my heart is crushed today.
right? Is for that. It's not for money, but I'm super proud of you. I'm super proud of what you managed to do in a week of just winging it like I'm trying to do down here. And I know you just got overloaded, and I'm super proud of you. I'm super proud of all of you down south that managed to just whip this together. And that's why I'm just going to wing it and just see, and thank you for being down there. And I need you to get out because you've shown us enough, and I need you alive for, long time. So
these people in this video are actual people from the town. They were here to help.
I know.
When we came to this town, the first 2 blocks of this town were lined with people. The sidewalks were lined with people. I mean, the whole town came out for this event. It's just, and just to see them appreciate that much, that's the reward right there.
Well, the government failed them, right? And that's what we do, is that we pick up the slack for what they don't do or what they can't do. And
not on camera.
Oh.
Lamont, Rick, I don't know.
Well, I know that as Brian said, this is not a really wealthy town. The median income is only about $35,000. And that, back in the 20s, it had a tire industry. They also produced ceramics like household wares. There was some industry there, but in today, as I understand it, one of their main industries or main sources of employment is orchards. And with this having happened, just the way this unfolded, this is going to be devastating for that agricultural industry. So I don't know where this leaves the town, and that's why now we see a class action lawsuit against Norfolk Southern from local residents. So as I said before, there's going to be litigation, and man, property values, the damages that we're looking at here, incalculable.
How many billions of dollars sent to Ukraine from the U.S.?
Right.
How many billions of dollars for what? And not a dime. Like there's no government here right now.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Right.
For
So
their own people.
Right.
I don't know if you guys know what this is like out here, but this is like an old city, old Midwest city, or even out a little bit further in the west, like in the dried areas. This is like 2-level, maybe 3-level buildings.
Right.
Like industry was just a lot of mom and pop, whether it be the True Value or whether it had been like a small little convenience store. I mean, this is what you would find rural America.
Mom and pop shops. Yeah.
For the most part, mom and pop type shops, restaurants, 2 stories where there's apartments on the top of the businesses, and it does not really look like a very rich place. It does look like it has maybe a little bit of wealth here and there, but it does look like very much just mid to lower blue collar life.
They're not people that can just pick up and like have the money to just move somewhere else and just start
No.
some. Right.
No, that's why they haven't left, because they can't.
And have to get out on the other side, right? And that's it. Not a lot of them have the money to just relocate and then rebuild their lives. So that's why this is so important, of making sure that Canadians do what we do best too, right? And I think we've seen a lot. And I don't know, like, thank you all. I didn't expect this to be like that, but just to see what actually is going on there and to talk to some of the locals and the people that have boots on the ground down there. And like I said earlier, I need people to put their differences aside, especially in our country. Like I said earlier, Rick and Lamont, I don't give a shit what people think about so-and-so or what group or that group. This is about helping the people that need it, and that's what we do best. And
you got to bear thing, because there was groups that helped us tremendously this time.
Right.
That before this happened, that I probably wouldn't even have talked to.
Right.
But these people showed that they could come out and help us and bury the axe and do it do it for the people here. And we had so many people, you know, just
show up and help.
You know.
And that's what it's about. You know what? Like I said, you know, Rick and Lamont, we all just went, you know, everyone knew where I was getting at. But, you know, especially the division in this country right now with all the groups and the people and the freedom fighters and all that. I just want people to just put that aside and just do what we need to do to get stuff to Ohio. I think we really see and get a real look at what's going on there. And Canada's really good at pulling together. And
no, we can get you some water and stuff you want.
Okay, yeah, that'd be good. I'll go around.
Well, I agree with you, Shay.
Right here.
Brian, you know, Shay, just, you know, considering this is something that you've embarked on and you've got some really great people supporting you, is get this administratively lock, stock, and barrel, real clean and clear. And by tomorrow, come up with some ideas around where people can send you the money to make sure that this is done in a way that's clear for the clarity of the people. Because like you said, it doesn't matter where this is going with who and what's available and what, as long as the people can trust that their hard-earned money is getting to the right people, it doesn't matter who's involved. It doesn't matter anymore.
And, you know, we'll look into that more, but, you know, I kind of agree with you because that was kind of one of my issues is how the hell, like trucks and all that stuff over the border. But Lamont, you're onto something there.
I thought they had some
on the other side of the border with a truck or two, and then get donations and you load it up and then you can go right. So that's definitely solves one problem as far as getting, you know, supplies across the border and to the other side.
What's the leak? You back up, and then we'll get you some water.
Somebody, you know what? Somebody tell, I don't care what's, Brian, mute yourself when you're not talking, man.
Brian. Hey, Brian.
Rick, what kind of housekeeping rules are going on here during your shows? You're a weirdo.
It's a free for all. What can I say? It's anarchy.
Brian, like focused, and I don't know what's going on over there, man. I'm trying.
That's okay. That's okay. I'm just kidding around.
Yeah.
But no, it makes it a little bit easier for us to hear everybody. And yeah, so guys, I'm gonna get going so that I'm ready for my day tomorrow. I really appreciate being on your show, Rick. This is a chat that I'm sure you and I should have had a long time ago. We'll have another one in the future, very much so.
Yes.
When you feel you need me for a show. Shay, let's get on this and let's bring in some good people that can help support you in this. Okay. Don't take this on alone. Brian, same thing. He's going to do what he can do, but let's make sure we can get him what's necessary. But let's keep a clear head here because ideas are great. But, you know, like I said, there's cross-border issues. There's logistical issues that we're not used to. Ideas are great, but let's just figure out a way that as soon as we come to a roadblock on one situation, there's another way we can do this, and we're going to get to a way where the people will get some help. And let's start brainstorming.
I was telling Shay last night when I was talking to her, the first thing I would do would be call Border Patrol, find out what they're going to ask of you, whether they're going to want a vaccinated person or whether they're going to want to inspect the truck. You know, find out what they were. If you get everything together and then try to come across, they don't let you, that's going to mess everything up.
Well, that's what Lamont was just saying is to get me on the other side of the river. And then that way with donations, and I have a truck on that side already, that when I have donations, then I just buy stuff and then we fill that truck and we go. And that really solves a lot of problems. Cause like I said, that was the biggest challenge for me is getting a vaccinated driver. Cause I'm vaccinated and I got a passport, so I'm good to go. But then that truck and then all of the supplies. So Lamont, we're onto something there. As you get me across the border, the donations come in, we buy what we need, we fill up that trucks, and then we go and we take it to Ohio. So that kind of
easy.
That's one thing that definitely was, you know, keeping me up is how the hell am I going to get this stuff across the border? But we can get me across, and then we have a truck there, and you know, you get what you need, and then you carry on from there. So Lamont, I think we're onto something there. Unless somebody else has, you know, something better on this side that, you know, knows and has international insurance and has all of that stuff that they really know. The driver's log, apparently, if it's all donated time, you really don't have to log it. but apparently from this side to that side, it's an 8-hour drive. You know what I mean? So as far as, logging in and stuff like that shouldn't be an issue. But like I said, I think getting me on the other side of the border and then is definitely, makes it easier for sure than so. But again, when we go on the show tomorrow, that's something hopefully that we'll have,
Yep.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna have to say goodnight. I'm actually running out of battery, plus I got to get on the road. Okay. So thank me for having me on here. If you need anything, let me know later.
Thank you, Brian. Excellent.
Thanks, bud.
You all have a good night.
Good night.
You too, Brian.
Thank you, Brian.
All right, Lamont.
Excellent.
All right, my dear. I am going to call the office. I'm going to call border officials tomorrow to figure out how I can get my passport renewed because it expired. Because I do have a medical exemption to cross the border, so I don't have to be vaccinated. And I'll do what I need to do across the border, but I'll get working on that passport to swit, and we'll have that little show tomorrow to see if we can come up with any more ideas. Rick, I'm sure you're going to be up all night thinking about what to do here. And breathe easy. Enjoy the air you have around you.
Enjoy the air you're breathing, because apparently what's south of the border ain't so good as we can see.
Like, we take a lot of stuff for granted. And the thing is this, guys, we are going to see a lot more of this happening. We do have to prepare ourselves for these type of things. So yeah, let's get ourselves, some serious breathing apparatus, because honestly, I know Brian's just joking around because he's a big guy who's used to, going into a lot of areas because he has to. I mean, he's putting himself in as a martyr position right now, because the way he looks at it, the way his brain works is that if these people in East Palestine are going to die from this, then you know what? He's going to do it too. And it's like, you know what? I love his spirit and I love his soul for that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, then we lose another Brian. We can't lose more Brians. Can't lose more Shays.
Brian, you understand that, right?
Understood. Yeah. No, we can't lose good people. So we got to keep our people protected and be logical. It's not, we just need to be non-personal about this kind of stuff, non-emotional, and just go, dude, like, smarten the fuck up. Do what you got to do. But man, if you could help yourself out just a little bit by keeping yourself a little bit healthier for the time being, to do more work right now.
But I think Lamont was, like we talked about last night, is people are getting arrested. People that, the news, the media, people like me that, live streamers, or people that want to keep things transparent and honest, are being arrested. So, we all have our ways of getting in there, and he just happened to find, someone who lived right there.
Absolutely.
I knew
Absolutely.
He would.
An angel of God. An angel of God. That's the whole point here, is that some people are meant for that. He's going and doing it. I'm not saying it's wrong. Brian is a big man who can live his own life. And hey, I probably would have done the same thing if I was thrown in that situation. Then you hindsight 2020 later, and go, hey, you do what you can at the time. You do the best you can at the time.
And being a patriot and fighting for your country is sometimes going into that battle zone to show the people and everyone else what is actually really going on, how the government and everyone else is failing them. And that's what patriots do, whether it's in America, whether it's here or all over the world. That is what we do. And that's what Brian showed tonight. And that's why I love that man. And
first in, last out, baby.
Huh?
First in, last out.
Always. I'm still lost out.
He doesn't shoot first. He shoots back.
Okay, well, I'll continue to make the platform here available to get the word out and spread the word. So thank you, both of you, for all that you're doing. It's incredible.
We're going to keep going, man, until we get our world back.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rick,
either in this life or the next.
For doing this, just jumping on board with me. And
that's what one of the main reasons we set this whole thing up, is for exactly this kind of thing.
Got to do it. I appreciate you being there. We are literally the last vestige of freedom media, right? Not a lot of people are doing it. So go for it, buddy. We're here for you.
Okay.
Okay, Rick?
All right, guys. Thank you very much for everything you did tonight and
Thank
everything
you.
you're about to do.
Hey, and I love your, it's not a no problem. It's not a my pleasure. It's what was your privilege? Your privilege?
Oh, my privilege.
Love it.
Absolutely.
I love that. That's a good one. I'm going to use that. Thanks, buddy.
Okay. Thanks.
Thanks, Shay.
Bye, buddy. We'll see you in the morning.
You got it. See you guys.
Take care. Bye.
Thank you, Rick.
Hey, Shay.
Hey.
Amazing. You see, your brainchild is maturing into something fantastic. So
and it's like Lamont said last week, it's like you just gotta watch Shay Eagle, because it's like I don't flock to, I watch, I observe, and I go where I'm needed. And it's like Lamont said last week, you got to watch and see what Shay Eagle does. But America's important. Brian's important. Americans for America is important. But number one, the people are important to me. And America is still North American, which includes us. And I'm just doing what we need to do. And like I said, I'm winging it, whether this works or whether it doesn't. This is kind of the first call I've put out to like the Canadian people, and really asking them, especially someone who's really deep in the core of the freedom movement, to please put all your differences aside. I don't care what you think of so-and-so or what differences or personal opinions of me or whoever. This is about what you really saw tonight, what Brian showed you, risked, his own safety to go in and show us of what's going on. And Brian is very important to me. And that, the Canadian people do what the Canadian people do, and that's to bring help to Ohio and the surrounding areas, because it's always the surrounding areas that are being ignored. And I'm just doing what's in my heart and what I do best, Rick.
Well, I'm sure that tomorrow things will begin to galvanize. The idea will start to take form in action.
Right.
Or at least a plan, and then it can be executed. And it looks like you're working toward making something come to fruition within about a week or so, right? To get down there, a week or two or something. Well, but you'll find out more tomorrow.
That are leaving New York, I think, by next Saturday, heading to Ohio. And if we can join up with Carolyn Collins and all of them that are in New York and leaving. Yeah. That would be great. Another small convoy, to pull in to show the people that, we are uniting all over the world. And that's what this whole movement and it's about, is the people and uniting, regardless of differences and differences of opinions. It's about showing up and standing for your people. And that's all I know how to do. So,
well, in this case, it's easy to unite because it's a common cause. You can see the goal. It's targeted. There's a specific destination. You can see what needs to be done. There's a need, and people can easily unite behind something like that because it's a good cause.
And we saw boots on the ground of exactly what's going on. And, Brian and those others being, going into that ground zero in that danger zone to show us of what really is going on where other people haven't been able to show us. So, thank you to Brian, and, he's brave and he's courageous, and, he's an American, and thank you to Americans for America for, what we started and actually showing up for the people. A lot of people do a lot of this, but a lot of people don't back it. And, when we started Americans for America and what they've done today, I'm super, super proud of every single one of them. And Brian just, winged it.
Yeah.
Just put that call out, and AJ and Vince and Brian and Denise and all of them did the mission.
And that was on the US side, and now you're going to put together this sort of from the Canadian side, but
right,
getting the support here, but just logistically bringing it together on the other side of the border so that it can be delivered in the most efficient, cost-effective way possible.
Absolutely. And I'm super proud of them and for what they did today. And yeah, I didn't expect Brian to show us all of that. So so, I hope it was a real deeper look for the Canadian people and all over the world to see how much help they need. And you know, if Hagerstown and Frederick can pull it together and Brian did it in a week, then the Canadians can do it too. And they all put their differences aside and made it happen. And they should. And I know we can do it too.
Yeah, and MM is just asking about a live streamer by the name of Alex Glasgow, who was on the show during the big People's Convoy in the U.S. Now, that was back in the summer.
Right.
And so MM is just asking if he's involved in this in any way. And as far as I can see, no, he's not.
He's not. And I will tell you, as one of the people from, you know, the startup of Americans for America, no. And again, you can talk to Vince and Brian about that, but that is a no from what I know. And if that is any different, again, Vince and Brian or AJ can correct me on that. But no, that's an absolute no. From what I know, that's a no.
Well, Shay, so this meeting is happening tomorrow, you know, around 11:30 or whatever, between you guys tomorrow.
It's on thatchannel.com. I'll post it again on my Facebook and on Lamont's too, but it'll air at 12 o'clock. But that's on thatchannel.com. And then we'll just carry on with Hugh and Lamont and see what else that we have. Maybe I can get Brian again back on there tomorrow. We'll see what he's up to, but just to see and just kind of touch base every day of what comes our way. So, and
I'll check in and, you know, whatever you need. If you need me involved in any way, just let me know. We'll continue to make this platform available. I'll keep people updated, and we can all make a difference together.
Thank you for your time and bringing all those guests on and taking that time to do all that. I really, really appreciate it.
No, hey, I appreciate you.
Thank
you. Amazing work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, guys. With that, we'll say goodbye to Shay, and I'll wrap up with everybody here for the evening. Shay, thank you. I'll touch base with you tomorrow.
Thanks, Rick.
Okay, take care.
Good night.
And there you have it, folks. And I am going to wrap up tonight. It's already 8:45, so we will not have the call-in portion of the show this evening. Perhaps get back on it tomorrow night with a call-in show. And I'll bring you up to date on the plan as it is created tomorrow and updated tomorrow evening here on the Maverick News Channel. So thank you, everyone, for spending your time with us here tonight. Again, my privilege. Catch you tomorrow, same channel, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the flip side.
This has been a Maverick Multimedia production.